Hi, everybody. I'm Shelly Harris, and this is Steve Bingham Hawk. Sorry. We are your key presenters today. We actually have several presenters sharing information with you today. But first off, we want to welcome you to our first certification of 4 for the virtual timer certification tour that we're doing here this month. So I see a number of names that I am very familiar with, so welcome. We'll also be doing a recording of this session and sharing it throughout the year for timers to get certified in RunSignup's technology. So welcome to all of you that come during the post live session as well. So, but first off, I want to make sure that those that are attending are actually timers. So this program is intended for timers only. So if you're not a timer, we welcome you to learn about RunSignup, but we ask that you get with your account manager. Also, with that, you need to have a timer account set up at RunSignup, and that was explained in the email, but I wanted to make sure everybody is aware of that. And there's different reasons for that. We want to make sure that we adjust your setting to be certified, and also this is the way that we send out like goodies and things like that to you. So you want to make sure that you have your own email or your own account under your own name. But if you're associated with a timer business, you want to be connected with that as a sub-timer with that business. So just make sure you're using the email that you frequently use to get communication as well. Okay, and then this is our agenda today, kind of a high-level agenda. I'm going to give you an overview of the program and why we do this and so forth, and then we'll talk through the registration setup, how to set up registration for an event. Even if you're familiar with it, you'll probably learn some little new tips and tricks and so forth. And then we'll talk through marketing and promotion. There's a lot of free tools at RunSignup that you can use for your own events or for those that you manage. And then we'll talk through the donations and fundraising features. As you all know, most events have some type of fundraising aspect to them. And then we'll give you a bonus track talking about TicketSignup. So with that, I'm going to launch a poll, and just to share, we're going to be doing polls throughout the session, and this is just a way to engage with you and to hear from you. But if you are not able to access the poll, it's because your screen is maximized, and you just need to take it out of that full screen mode, and you'll be able to take part in the poll. So I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll. If you can, if you all could respond to it. So the question is, which RunSignup timer certifications have you completed? So we just want to know kind of what your interest has been to date. Okay. Oh, wow, we have a lot of first timers. Yay. It's great to see. Okay, so most people, this is your first. So that's good to know. We actually have 22% that have actually gone through all 3 certifications that we've offered to date and are actually taking this class as a refresher, and that's great to see. And 16% have been certified in both Race Joy and Race Day scoring. So, but welcome everybody, and we'll take it from that lens that for many of you, this is actually your first certification. So with that though, I wanted to share that for those that have gone through the certification classes, this is going to be a lot lighter than the others. So it won't be as intense in the technology training aspect of things. But for those that you are not familiar with the certification program, the reason why RunSignup offers this, and really specifically focusing on the timer business, is so that we can empower timers with a competitive advantage and give them ways to grow your business and with new revenue streams and services and so forth. But in return, we're hoping this will entice you to recommend RunSignup for registration. So there's a lot of tools that we offer for free that we give to timers and so to help their businesses. and it actually, quite frankly, costs a lot of money to develop those tools and maintain them. So where we're making the revenue to support our own businesses, our own business, is through registration. So that's our long-term goal with you. So our implementation of this program is to provide you with advanced race day technology, focusing on that race day experience and the things that you do to help your events. And we do that through our advanced scoring software, race day scoring, and also through the most advanced form of participant tracking in the industry with RaceJoy. And we also have other revenue generating opportunities that we'll cover today. Okay. So I wanted to kind of give you some information on some of the surveys we've done, and this is just a brief touch on it. So we actually are doing a timer survey debrief in February, so we hope you join us for that. But this is something that you shared with us, or timers in the industry have shared with us, the top competitive approaches that you take for gaining businesses. And the top approach is through relationships, then services and technology. And I think you'll find today we're really touching on that services and technology, which obviously will fuel that relationship side of things. And this actually came from our most recent timer survey, and 78% of timers offer services outside of just timing the event. Now we know each event is different and each would require different types of services, but this is important to note that the majority of you are offering services that it's not just timing. And the types of services, these are the top 10, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will point out that event marketing is number 4, and that is something that we'll be talking about today in greater detail. So, and then you'll see custom website is number 9, and that is another area that we'll be talking about today. And number 8 is race staff and volunteer management, and that actually can be supported in a lot of the tools that you could set up before the race with our volunteer part of things. And I don't believe that we're covering that today, but there's other sessions on that as well. So, and then this actually came from Running USA and was from last year. We don't have this year's survey results yet, but I doubt this will change much at all. So the point of this is to share, where do events spend their dollars? And the number 1 area is in marketing. So if there's a way for you to tap into that, wonderful. So if that's the number 1 budget item, that's where we have a lot of tools at RunSignup that you can offer as a service to your events, or you could just, that's something that you provide as a competitive advantage. And then these are the types of marketing activities. Obviously word of mouth is always very powerful, but if you see the email portion of this, it's definitely, a big focus for events. And the more you understand about RunSignup's email services, that's something that you can then also offer to your events. And it's very important to note that most of your events believe that you are the technology experts for them. So they're looking to you beyond timing. They're going to look to you to guide them in different ways in technology. And that's what RunSignup's exclusive focus is on technology for the running or for the event industry. So that's hopefully you'll see that this is all coming together to support you in this area that races are expecting from you. So what are the RunSignup registration technology benefits? What are the benefits that you get with RunSignup? So data integration for you, just even from the day that you're timing the event, having all the data integrated and all these different components versus having it siloed means that you have automatic data updating of data across different functions. So from registration to results to bid management, all of this is seamless, and it increases your efficiencies. You're not having to change something over here to then reflect a change from another source. This also decreases your efforts to manage the participant data and opens up your time for other things. The other things that RunSignup offers to you is increased revenue. We have the partner program. You have RaceJoy for certified for those events that are on RunSignup's platform. If you're certified in RaceJoy, you're able to offer that as a revenue stream. It's entirely, it's exclusively available through timers that are certified in RaceJoy. you can you have the potential to offer package services, and that's where maybe you can offer services that you're doing for marketing, because these are actually free tools that you have that RunSignup. So if you have events that come over to RunSignup, then these are the types of things that you can offer to them. The number one thing that I like to share, talk to timers about, is that you can actually, the more services you offer to your events, the greater the stickiness you have with your event. And that means that they're less likely to move on to another timer that tries to get their business. So it's easier for them to just stay with you if you're already doing their registration setup, you're already doing their email, or you're creating their website, and there's just increases the loyalty with them. So some of the free advanced tools that are available at RunSignup are the the race day registration, but also the marketing tools. We have website builder, we have the email. We also have the race day tools with the check-in app, the bid management, and then there's you can set up registration for challenge events or virtual or on-site. But really the focus on today is expanding the revenue opportunity for those pre-race activities, because your race day is already full. It's a pretty busy day. So if you can garner some extra income that focuses on technology that doesn't take a lot of resources and time, it's really focused on that pre-race activities, that's a great thing to do. So what are some of the benefits for your race directors? Why should you suggest that they come over to RunSignup? And before I even begin on this, we don't expect you to be the salespeople for RunSignup. We have salespeople for that. So if you have someone that's interested in RunSignup, by all means, just tell your salesperson or account manager, and they will coordinate to have a demo or get a call with them with the race that you think would be a good fit for RunSignup. So, but just so that you have a basic understanding, of some of the benefits at RunSignup, and this is obviously not exhaustive at all of all the things that they can get with RunSignup. But RunSignup has standard to complex registration, virtual challenge events, on-site, as I mentioned before, donations, fundraising, and ticket events. And there's a lot of great tools, marketing tools that are free to help increase registrations. They're focused very much on helping your events increase registrations. And as a timer, since you're paid typically by participant, the more they increase registrations, then that benefits you as well. And then the race day experience, with Race Joy, the check-in app, and photos and so forth. So just to kind of explore, I know this is new to some of you, and let's do another poll. I wanted to find out how many people actually are offering registration as a service already. Do you provide support? If people could answer this, are you setting up registration for your races, and do you support them with that? Oh, that's good. Wow, it's amazing. Oh, this is great. So only 3% said no. So that's amazing to see, and that's great. So yeah, 66% said yes for most of my events and 31 for some. That's great. Thanks for sharing. Okay. So most of you will be familiar with this. So this is a way for you to offer added value and for a complete setup and management. And quite frankly, the better that it's set up in the beginning, the better your results and everything are on the other end. And then one of the things that you could do is provide a registration assessment, assessment for them, provide guidance on different approaches, and share your best practices. Because a lot of these race directors, they're doing this once a year. They don't know about this industry like you do. So you can share with them things that have worked with other events, and then encourage additional registration options like teams and fundraising and virtual. All these things help them be a success, and in the end will help you be more of it successful as well. And then marketing. So this is, a number of things, actually, let's go ahead and ask that poll. Let me see. I think I had that as poll. Yes. Do you offer marketing support services for your events? Okay, great. Well, we have almost everybody's answered. Okay, only about 9% said no. 17% said yes, they do a lot. 49% for some select events and 26% for just a little. So it's good kind of cross showing of that. Okay, so some of the must-haves for events obviously is that they have a website, their registration page, and email communication. So these are some, if you were to prioritize what are the things that you could do to help your events, these would be the areas that we would suggest to focus on. And then also promotion, so helping them to increase registration. So you can offer to guide them in tools or provide them at, this as a service, as an add-on or for an add-on fee, or maybe you do a percentage of increase of, number of registrants. And again, share your best practices that you've seen other events doing. Okay, and then this is just kind of an example. You could offer like a level 1 basic marketing, website management, website setup and management, instructional emails. Maybe there's 3 emails with a follow-on. And then there's a level 2 that could also include a referral program, coupons, and social media posting and advertising, or you can select from those. So you could also include an initial consultation and guidance, and all of this you can package and maybe, and it depends. So this is the type of thing that you have to determine, like, my smaller events, maybe I offer that as just kind of a free thing that I do, just a basic website setup, and that's my kind of a competitive advantage. So. And then this is just an example again of, maybe there's check marks that you can offer them. There's just kind of a la carte that they pick and choose which things that they want help with, and then you can come up with a custom quote for them. And then race day as a service, so you could take that to the other side of things. So now we're going into the race day. It's like these are all the different types of things that you offer, and then just pick and choose the types of things that they would like. Or you can do kind of let's sit down, take an assessment of things for you and your events, or do a call. And these are the things I think that you need, that you could benefit from, and the ways that I could help you with. And then, what are the, asking for more. I know a lot of time I talk to timers and they say, I've already got this. It's hard to kind of ask for more. So, when you think about, different approaches, and again, don't feel like you have to do this yourself. Feel free to tap into our team as well. So some of the types of things that you could do that I see people do is, use your website and social media to communicate the types of services that you have to offer. That's more of a passive approach. You're not going out for the ask, and then maybe in your emails or newsletters, you say, these are the types of services I'm offering. You just kind of bullet them out underneath your email signature and so forth. And again, doing that assessment planning, get face-to-face, and that builds that relationship. It shows that you are being a source for them, and you're trying to help them improve. And then, sharing your best practices and what you're seeing other events do is very helpful. And now for Steve. I'm gonna shut my camera off so I'm not distracted.
Well, thanks, Shelly. That was awesome. Nice introduction and kind of framing what we're doing here today. Hopefully, we're going to be here for under 3 hours, I think. I know we scheduled that time. We're going to try and get you out of here sooner than that. But make sure you've got your water, anything else you need to keep rolling. We are going to do a short break after this next deck. We've got 5 total decks. That might sound like a lot, but I promise we're going to move through this. As you can see with Shelly, already engaging and very helpful. But so my name is Steve. I'm a senior account manager here at RunSignup, and I really enjoy working with races. I've organized and timed races myself, and I found RunSignup after working with many platforms, and I found it during the pandemic, and it just blew my mind, truly, how powerful and how comprehensive and integrated all of the tools and features were. So I'm really excited for folks that are like in that space, like I was, that are just, you're gonna see some things today that are like, wow, I can't believe we can do that. I was never able to even think of doing this amazing thing that's gonna help my business and my clients. So, and for those of you that are here because you've gone through the training and you're getting a refresher, I applaud you. Always lifelong learning, great skill and orientation to have, and really happy to have you all here as well. So the topics we're going to cover in this specific session is all about registration setup. So how do we really get things laid out and ready to start accepting signups and registration? So what are those basics? What does the setup look like? What does reporting look like once you start getting registrations coming in? And we really want to hit on the renewal process, because that's really key and critical for you in the long term to make sure that you're unlocking all of the potential that the platform on RunSignup has. So in our setup, we're going to cover these topics: the wizard, how do you get access and give access to others to your race, what kind of questions you're going to ask in collecting that information, reporting on it, the giveaway options, how you activate teams and groups for that shared experience and to grow your numbers, and then how do you empower your participants, your registrants, to manage themselves and take the heat and the work off of your plate and your team's plate. So the race wizard, before we actually go into each one of the steps, I just want to pause on why do we create races? So what does a race sort of mean, and what is its function on RunSignup? It's really just a central place. It's like your headquarters where all of your data is being collected, and then has all the customizations and features that you can do to really, again, unlock all the things that are possible. And everything that's going to be in your race on RunSignup, where registration is happening, syncs directly with race day scoring. So there's no exporting and importing into that software, which is very helpful. There's so many tools that touch every single part of the race life cycle. So from the very beginning, when you're launching, to promotion, to collecting the registrations, communicating with your participants, getting them set up with results and photos on race day, checking them in on the race day check-in app, and then post-event communications. Every single part of it from start to finish is included in your race and in that dashboard. Really wonderful feature. Again, we're going to hit on the renewals later, but that allows everything to stay in one place, so you're not going and having to manage in multiple locations, multiple races on your dashboard. You're just going to one for all your years. And then I want to touch on just the lingo. So, and those of you that are chronotrack timers like myself, you know that this is actually flipped. So a race for RunSignup means the actual day that everything is taking place. So for example, if I've got a race this weekend on Saturday, Saturday is what I would refer to as my race. The events are all of the options of things that I can participate in on Saturday. So if I'm offering multiple distances, a marathon, a half marathon, a 5K, each one of those is considered an event, all happening on the race. The race is Saturday. So hopefully that helps a little bit with understanding how we refer to things on the platform, and you'll see that throughout. So there's 7 steps to our wizard. You can see here, there's some basic info we collect. You set up all the events that you're offering, all the options for race day. Your registration options as far as pricing and pricing periods, what you're giving away, so your free item, typically a t-shirt, right? The page that your registration form is going to be housed on, as well as other content you're adding, then the payments, how you're getting paid, and then showing you a status that everything's finished, and then taking you from there to launch into additional customizations. So what we're going to do now is go through each step and talk about some sort of pointers and tips and tricks. And this might be, like as Shelly alluded to, if you've gone through this before, maybe this will be a nice refresher or something that you haven't seen before or forgot about. So when you name your race, make sure that you're doing something that is sort of year agnostic, meaning that it does not include the year of the current year, like 2023, or it doesn't include what annual it is, 6th annual, for example, because that URL is going to live on after this year. So you want it to be something generic. You want it to be the name of your event, devoid of any denotion of what year it is. So in this case, it's Very Cool Race, not Very Cool Race 23. Please avoid doing that, because it's not impossible, but it is difficult to change later, and you need help to do that. Also on step 1, the collecting some basic info, the race contact email. So this is where any inquiries are going to be sent to. You have options, and we'll get into those of how that appears on your registration site, but make sure this is something that obviously somebody has access to your race if they're getting these emails, and so they can actually resolve questions that are coming from your registrants. But also think about and consider setting up a group. So things like, with Gmail, you can set up an info at whatever your domain is and add multiple people on that. And I have found that in my personal experience to be helpful, so you're not missing communications, everybody's getting responded to, and you have a record of all of that. And so one tip on this step one is that all of your events need to be added here. So and no other step can you actually add an additional event. So let's say you're setting up, you got your 5K and your 10K, you move on and you're down to step 4, and you're like, oh, I forgot about my kids race. You need to come back to step 1 in order to add that kids race in. Also on step 1, there's a lot going on in step 1. You can set up your donations very quickly. Just some of the basics. You can toggle that on and put in about how many donations you're expecting to bring in. You also can select some non-binary options for those that would like to offer different identities beyond male and female. And then give your timers, or yourself as the timer, access to get to results. And it also connects with all the RaceJoy functionality if you're a RaceJoy timer and certified. So that's where the timer is added. Finally, on step 1, it has our race contract and code of conduct. So that's an agreement between RunSignup and the timer or the race, understanding how things work on our platform and what code of conduct we need to abide by. And this is also where your draft options are. So if you want to develop your race website and your registration form without people seeing what you're doing in process, you can click this as Save as Draft. Now, just keep in mind that you need to come back to step 1 after you've done all this configuring, and that might be the next day, it might be weeks later after a lot of people have reviewed and tested, right? Make sure when you're ready to go live and you send out that email to tens of thousands of people, you've taken out of draft mode, but you're smart. You're gonna make sure that you're testing all of this before you send out a large email like that, right? And then in step 2, so it looks like you could add additional events here, but remember, you gotta go back to step 1. Here, there's not a ton more of configuration, but one key piece is the age calculation. So if your race is basing its age group award policy on, say, their age at the end of the year, not race day, which is in September, then you would want to put in 12/31/2023 for the age calculation base date. Otherwise, if you don't put anything in, it's just going to default to whatever your actual race date is. All right, moving along, in step 3, you can set up your registration periods and what kind of pricing you want to offer as well. And keep in mind that if you've got multiple events, say you're offering 5 different events on race day, and you've got maybe 3 or 4 different registration periods, that's a lot of setup. You can actually modify multiple events at one time and at least get the structure, like get the dates set up as you're modifying for everything. Then you can go in and tweak some of the pricing as well, because obviously you're probably not going to charge the same for a marathon as your kids race, but at least you can cut a little bit of work down by setting up the periods all at once. The pricing tiers I mentioned, and then under registration options for each event, you can do some further limitations. So you can set a maximum number, so there's a cap. You can limit the age, which is really helpful for, again, kids races. If it's a women's only event, you can select only females. And then another really cool feature is our private event code. So let's say you have a specific group that is only going to be participating in a certain event. You can set a code, which then creates sort of a token that feeds into this URL. And we give an example on the screenshot here. And that URL can then be shared out, and only folks that have that URL can access the event. And that can be configured under race, registration, dates, pricing, and options. So I want to pause really quick. When you see these pink sort of caret arrows that are moving in a direction, those are indicating where in your dashboard and which menu or sub-menu this screenshot is being pulled from. So take note of this, and obviously this is going to get shared out along with this recording. So don't frantically try to remember everything, but if you're following along at all or trying to look in a race that you've started creating or created in the past, that's why those are there. All right, also in step 3 is your waiver. So we, by default, include copy in there for waivers that really apply and work for many or most races. But you are more than welcome to completely remove that and put in your own waiver, or you can edit certain sections of it The other thing you can do on this page is you've got some additional options to require folks that they have to scroll down, or they have to enter initials, or a notification can be sent to somebody else that you're registering, because you want, if somebody's paying for a friend, you want the friend to actually agree to the waiver. So there's some additional customizations there, and then you can add up to 3 waivers. Keep in mind though that if you add multiple waivers, everyone, regardless of what event they're participating in or signing up for, they do need to agree to all 3 waivers. So you can't distinguish one event is for this, or one waiver is for this event, and then this waiver is for a different event. But this is an incredibly helpful use case of this. Is, let's say you're hosting your event, for example, a bike ride at a ski resort in the summertime, and they have their own waiver for anybody participating in a physical activity on their grounds. You can add this here and satisfy that and make the resort really happy that you've included that. Then your giveaway. So typically this is going to be a t-shirt, right? But we've seen a lot of people using creative solutions, to sort of get away from having to worry about ordering sizes and things like hats or socks. But this is where you can configure the initial pieces of it. There's options for each size. You can add as many or as few sizes as you'd like. And then I always highlight and encourage people to put an image in there. You might not have that when you're first going through the wizard, but come back and do that if you can, because I think that's a little extra motivation, gets people excited for what they're going to get. And then you can add additional details and let them know what's the material. You could even link out to the manufacturer if you have that, and that may give indications on what chest size a medium and a large is, so that helps them better select what size, so they're happier, and then maybe less customer service on race day with people swapping shirts. On this page, you can also add additional prices. So if you're being charged extra by your t-shirt manufacturer for a larger size, you can add $1 extra if somebody's going to select one of those sizes. You can also add negative amounts. So we've seen some folks that want to encourage or incentivize people that don't want a t-shirt to be able to lower the cost of the registration. So if you put -10 in for an option called no t-shirt, that will reduce the price of the registration by $10 when they get to their cart to check out. All right, step 5, this is where you're going to get into all your branding and really make the site look sleek and feel like your own. So here you're going to add a logo. We have some default icons. If you're not ready for that, you're still developing your logo, or you don't know which one you're going to use, or you just don't have it on hand. But if you're going to use it, I really personally recommend that you use a square logo. Of course, you can do a horizontal or vertical one, but filling up that white space, I think, is really helpful, especially when you're using devices with smaller screens like phones. And it needs to be at least 200 pixels wide. So that's why I recommend that you need to have a 200 by 200 pixel at least to put here. And then your banner image, that is going to be sort of a rectangle landscape. That's 1200 by 400 is the recommended size for that. You can always come back and change these later. And just like with our icons for our race logo that we have as some defaults just as placeholders, we also have some images that might really work for you that are professionally shot, so you can select from those too. All right, and then also on step 5, there's some options that you can't do anywhere else. So just wanted to highlight that. I was talking before about if you want to post sort of publicly the email address that people will be contacting if they have questions, but you can also select this option so that it only shows a form. That way they're entering their first name, last name, and their email address and their question, but they don't know who it's actually going to if for some reason you want to protect because it's a personal email address. There's also some options here that maybe you want to hide the event tiles that show the event name and the price on your registration page, or maybe when one is no longer on sale, you want that to hide and only show the active ones. So some additional kind of cool features there. And then step 6, really important, right? Getting the money. This is where you're going to denote which payment account you want to use if you already have one set up, or maybe you have multiple. So choosing which one you want it to go to, or create a brand new payment account from here. And then we want to note that all transactions that are processed on RunSignup and all the system here with the payment accounts, that's PCI level 1 compliant. And also RunSignup is a payment facilitator. So we're not actually processing the payments necessarily. It's going to a third party called Adyen. They're processing it, and they're also assisting with the underwriting process to making sure that who's using our platform are using it for its intended purpose and not for anything nefarious. So it may seem like, why do you need this much information from us? It's really to protect the integrity of the platform for everybody, certainly for us, but everyone that's using it, and so that participants, when they go on RunSignup know that this is a trusted platform that is protected, and that we are weeding out those that are using it, again, for some purpose that it's not intended for. And then once you get through that and you're on step 7, it's going to show you your race status. Hey, you've created your race. Now let's go and view all that awesome work that you've done. What does it look like right now? Or you can go to your race dashboard and start doing those additional customizations, which we're going to get into as we move forward. So race access, if you're the one that is creating this event or you've been denoted as the timer, this is already going to populate for you. So by clicking on your profile image, and if you haven't uploaded one already, you'll just see the gray silhouette at the top right-hand corner. You'll see my races. Those will show all the ones that you have access to. If you have a partner dashboard, or if you're have a timer dashboard because you're a timer, you'll show that will also be an option in the drop down. And then if you're looking at the front-facing website, so where people actually go to register, and you're trying to quickly get to the race dashboard because you notice something needs to be updated, if you click on your profile image again, you'll see race dashboard at the top, and that'll take you to the back end. Of course, all of this is based on the idea and the requirement that you're logged in, so make sure you're doing that, and that might be one reason if you're not seeing these drop downs. All right, so there may be other people on your team, right? Or if you're the timer and you're setting this up for your client or customer, you're going to want to give them access, right? So you can give race director access under, you can see the path there from race to secure access / info sharing. Keep in mind that that's going to give them access to everything except the payment account. The payment account settings and access is completely separate from the race director, so they're not going to be able to go in and change any of those details. You don't have to be worried about that. But if you don't want to give access to everything, maybe you've got a volunteer coordinator that you just want to go in and view the volunteer pieces and make changes there. You can use what's called the dashboard page access, and you see that sort of at the bottom of this screenshot here, and that you can click which areas of the dashboard you want to give access to a specific user. And then if they're not set up with a RunSignup account right now, it's going to send them a notice letting them know that they've been granted access, and then they can now set up a RunSignup account. So it's all automated and helps you move through the process and helps coach that person to get them set up. Custom questions. So you can ask anything, but what I would ask all of you to do is remember what is the most optimal experience for people as they're going through that registration flow. Sure, you may want to collect their income, what their title is, what company they work for, but you also don't want to create a registration that is very long and difficult to get through or feels uncomfortable because you're not willing to share that much information. So be thoughtful about the questions that you're asking, but what's great about our platform is that we have a lot of customizations and tools that allow you to do a lot of customization and make sure that the questions that you do decide to use are actually going to work really well. So first are some standard questions that I think a lot of races or most are going to ask, and so we have sort of default options for that. So the emergency contact name, emergency contact phone, and then an option to sign up for text messages. And keep in mind, these are not marketing text messages. These are emergency text messages that people are agreeing to receive if you need to communicate something last minute, such as a cancellation or a delay because of weather. So that's what that purpose is for. Now, when you're ready to create a question from scratch, we've got several options you can choose from. So there's a free form, checkbox, radio button, select menu, a yes, no, time entry, and essay. You'll have to decide which one is best for you to set up all of these. And then there's additional options that you can require the response or make it optional. You can ask each registrant or just one time for somebody who's signing up their entire family. So just tons and tons of flexibility with custom questions. You can also ask them just by specific event. So maybe you're asking something about a parent for someone signing up a kids race. You don't need to be asking that when an adult is signing up for an adult event. So you can distinguish between those. You can also add internal questions. So maybe there's some information that you want to be able to see on the back end as well as your team members. Maybe you also want that to populate in the race day check-in app so you can see that as somebody is coming in. Maybe they're a VIP, maybe they've participated for 20 years and you've got a special field that you want to highlight there, but only on the back end. No one else the participants are not going to see, and they're not going to be able to edit it. So that's another option. You can also indicate questions that are only for team captains. So that's very helpful. Question logic is great. So you can set up questions that are dependent on a previous question. Therefore, you can sort of streamline and organize what you're asking folks. And therefore, people that, maybe something doesn't apply to them and you kind of weed that out by one question, a response may indicate, well, I want to know more from this person about this specific topic. So in this case, it's, how did you hear about the race? If they select other, then they can indicate, something that, or the area that they actually found out about the race instead of one of the default options from the dropdown. All right, and another piece, and this was something that you can enable on step 1, again, is the non-binary option. So, if you're not already seeing this, I think that there's sort of a derived demand coming from our folks that are registering, and then it's coming to the race directors, and giving people that flexibility to choose something that they're more comfortable with in terms of their identity. We want to make sure, though, that you have that conversation with your race director about what does this mean for our age group awards. And you don't want to get on race day and think, whoops, we didn't order any awards for the non-binary folks, or maybe you want to only offer overall awards for those and not age groups. So you want to have those conversations as early as possible. And this is just what it shows like in the registration flow, so that you can see the way that it changes from just the traditional male and female options. All right, so I'm going to bring on a friend and one of our team members, Herman, who is also a senior account manager here at RunSignup, and one that brings just a lot of positivity and fun to our team, and has been helping hundreds, maybe probably thousands of customers and countless athletes along the way with his time with RunSignup. So Herman, are you with us here?
Yes, I am, Steve.
Awesome. All right, you're going to go into a few topics to help people further customize. We're going to start with giveaways, so take it away.
Thank you. So with the giveaways, it's normally just going to be free t-shirt options. That's what we default to within the settings, and as you can see, we default to the sizes small through extra large. It's a few things with the giveaways. It doesn't have to necessarily be a t-shirt. We have races that give socks, give hats, sweatshirts, jackets. So like if you are going to offer a sweatshirt or jacket or things like that, and you might want to charge a little extra for it, we do have an extra price column, as you can see. And what this is going to do is add it onto the price of registration. So something that I like to suggest, if you are going to offer an extra price, and sometimes even if you're not, is to go ahead and add a no giveaway option for participants to select. Because sometimes a lot of participants, they might have done a ton of races, they don't want another t-shirt, and this way you can save a little bit of money. So if you have a decent sized race and you've got 20, 30 people opting out of getting a t-shirt, it could save you money in the long run. Something that you're not going to see in the Race Wizard giveaway page, but you will see within the dashboard, is that last column that says fits these standard sizes. So this column is a little bit confusing for times. So what this means is, you can see in there's a unisex male small, and then you have the female medium small. So what that means is that's what the size correlates to. And also, if participants have their giveaways set to in their profile, it's going to automatically select what's getting mapped to that. So if you look at it, it may seem like you're offering a male and a female size, but in actuality, you're only offering that small. So the giveaway option description is going to be the only thing that the participant sees when they're registering. So if you do have male and female sizes, what you're going to want to do is have a female small and a male small, female medium, male medium, and so on and so forth for each size. So this way they're going to select exactly what they want for that. And once you have your sizes and everything set, if you are going to limit t-shirts, you're able to do that in the giveaway inventory, which is under race, giveaways, add-ons, and then giveaway inventory. So the giveaway can be set up two different ways. So we have our simple setup, which pretty much would just be you saying, hey, I want to sell X amount of sizes for all of my t-shirts. So I only want to sell 100 t-shirts across the board. So how it's currently set up now is that we have smalls across all events, and there's a total of 100 smalls. So now what this is going to do is that you just select each event, the size under it, and then set your total for that. And then you can just add a row for each size. So if you do have different numbers of mediums and things like that, it's going to account for it. A little trick with the giveaway size. So let's say you turn the inventory on after registration has started. You do not need to account for any of the sizes that have already been selected. You're just going to stick your total number of sizes in there, and it's going to automatically subtract those that have already been selected. So if you are a little late with setting up your giveaway inventory, you're not going to have to worry about it. Just put your total in and it will take care of itself. And then if you've had races, if you had your race before on RunSignup and you renewed it to go for a new year, what you can use is the giveaway projection tool. If you are going to use an inventory and you're just trying to say, how many shirts might I need this year? What you would just do is put the percentage in that you have, and then it'll calculate it for it. The percentage can be over 100. So this way you can account for a little bit more if you're expecting your race to grow. Not many races use this tool in my experience, but I feel it is very helpful if you're trying to get a rough estimate of what you potentially may need to budget out for shirts or giveaways in the following year. So teams, so this team we're going to talk about is groups and teams. It's more alongside the social teams, which is completely separate from fundraiser teams. So I don't want you guys to get those confused. Groups and teams is going to be for your relays, your social runnings. It's not going to have anything to do with fundraisers. So just keep that in mind when setting this up. I would also suggest if you are thinking about using groups and teams versus fundraiser teams, decide what's more important to your event. So if your event is more focused on fundraising, I would suggest using fundraising teams opposed to groups and teams. So with the groups and teams, it's a pretty straightforward setup just to enable. What you would just need to do in the participants groups and team setup tab, you'll just need to add a group type. So what a group type just is, it's how you're going to categorize the teams. So you can have more than one group type. So for example, you might have school teams, you might have corporate teams, charity teams, anything like that, how you want to categorize it. If you're going to set up a relay, you can do a 2-person group type, a 3-person group type, a 4-person group type, and this way it just splits it out. And then under the advanced settings, you're able to set up gender restrictions and size restrictions for those teams. So if you have a relay, a 2-person relay team, you can set the max to 2. This way, somebody doesn't accidentally have a team of 3 or 4 under the 2-person, and you have your own category for the 3 or 4-person, and it'll separate all of the group sizes. You can also set it by gender, so you can have male, female, or co-ed. You can also set minimums and maximums of how many males or how many females can be on a co-ed team, things like that. So it's a few different customizable options. Something I do see other races do just to maybe make it a little easier for their participants to navigate the groups and teams. They'll have a specific event, so it might be sprint relays, and then it'll be an event separate from the individual sprint. This makes it a little easier when people are going through and registering. And then there's also a setting that you can require registrants to join a group for that event. So you can make it so that everybody that's registering for the relay event has to sign up for a team. This prevents individuals from signing up for team events on accident. So then with team pricing, there's a few different ways you could do team pricing. One of the ones that I normally recommend is setting it up so that the person who registers for the team pays for everybody on the team, and then the other members just join for free. So now what this does, it makes it better for you guys because as a race director, you get your money for the team up front. And then let's say the other members join, somebody needs to drop. Since they didn't pay anything, you're not going to have to worry about a refund and then somebody else signing up and have to pay. It just makes it a very smooth process when removing and adding members. So something else, that's pretty cool with the team pricing is registration fee refunds by group size. So a lot of races, they'll say, well, if your team has 5 or more, we'll give you a discount. I was like, well, how are we going to apply that discount? Are we going to go back and manually refund everybody once that team reaches it, or are we just going to give them the discount to start and then work on the honor system? With this feature, what it will do, it will automatically issue a refund to the earlier register group. So if you're looking at the screenshot here, if you notice this is after registrant number 10, what that means is that after that person registers, 1 through 9 are going to get a refund. So how it's set now is that members 1 through 9 are going to get a $10 refund once the 10th participant joins the team. So now that the team has met the threshold of the minimum number of members to get a discount, it's going to automatically give everybody that registered that discount. And then the pricing will just be set so that when the 10th person registers, that they're automatically getting the discount, and then the discount will be applied to any registrations after that 10th member. So you're not going to have to worry about it. It happens by itself. We also have what's called the ensure registration balance. This is going to prevent somebody's registration from getting refunded below a certain amount. So let's say you have a few different refund tiers, but you don't want anybody to get refunded past $15. So how it's set now, if somebody paid $20 for the registration, maybe they used a coupon code, maybe they got age-based pricing, they're still only going to get a $5 refund because they're not going to get refunded below the $15 as it shows in the screenshot. And the relay style pricing, this is what I described at first. So how it's set up now is that the first person who registers is going to pay the standard pricing that you have set on the event level. And then if look after member 1 joins the group, each following member will pay $0. And then in the details, it says members 2+. So anybody from member 2 on is going to register for free. So this is just going to make it easy if somebody has to drop off the relay team, they need to make subs or injuries or anything like that happens. And then with the team functionality, it's not one size fits all. It can be customized to how you need it to be. So like you can use the groups and teams for the social teams with recruiting and scoring. You have our fundraising teams for raising money. And the corporate teams is going to be a little more advanced. It's an invoicing feature for companies who want to pay for some or all of their employees' registrations. I would suggest if you are going to use corporate teams, reach out to your account manager, ask them some questions just to make sure that it's the right fit for you, because there could be some other ways that'll make it more simple and easier for you to get what you're trying to accomplish instead of using that feature. And then we have a great deal of participant management tools, which would just make it a lot easier. So if you're more one of those hands-off race directors that kind of want to allow your participants to do things and make changes for themselves, if you look in the race dashboard under participant management, you're going to have all of the management features. What this is just going to do is allow you to set it up so that, hey, participants can make changes up to a certain date. So if you want to allow participants to go in and be able to change their t-shirt size before your t-shirt order needs to be in, you can set that the last date for them to be able to do that. And then they can just go in and manage it themselves. So if they need to update add-ons, you're asking custom questions and one of their answers changed, they might have moved, they might have got a new phone number, things like that. They need to update with the groups in team management. If they need to change teams, or maybe they had a 2-person relay team and now they want to change to a 3, they're able to do that hands off and you don't have to worry about it. Something else that a lot of races do with that is they add a FAQ page to their race page. So for each one of these management options, there's a how-to guide that will guide the participant on how to make that change themselves. So adding a FAQ page and adding a few how-to links or just the link to the how-to page, the help guides, it will make it a lot easier and it'll save you some questions that you may get from participants of how to do X, Y, and Z when they can just go to your race page and see it. And it just saves you their time and saves your time, and a lot of participants really appreciate that.
All right, Herm. We appreciate you being on today and helping.
All right, no problem. Glad I could help you out, Steve.
All right. So we are going to cover some reporting basics here. Obviously we're collecting these registrations and we're wanting to make sense of all the data that's coming in. So I think the most important piece that our race directors and timers are going to be looking for is under participants, view participants. Under the event field, you can select which year from the dropdown, as well as you can select which event within that year. This is really helpful, especially when you're using the event, the race from year to year, because you're renewing, right? And you're not creating a new race. And also, if you've imported data from other platforms for past years, you'll be able to see those reports on that data that you've imported from this dropdown. And then it's really important to note that we've got a few fields that appear by default under the Search Common Fields tab, but right next to it, you'll see Search All Fields. That opens up some additional options of things that you can search for, different parameters, so that you can have a little bit more of a custom report and get at what you're really trying to get to. And then I wanted to highlight, and this is on almost all of our pages, it could be all of them, on our dashboard, is that help button. So, and it's especially helpful right here because it does take you to a help guide that is just pound for pound. That quick guide is the best to be looking at all the different options and ways that you can use the participant report to get the data that you need. But really, when you're doing anything on our platform, click on that help button if you're feeling like you got a question. Most likely it's going to take you to a tutorial, to a webinar that's going to explain pretty much what you're looking for and get you the answer that you need without having to reach out. Then under the report options, that's the tab next to the search change event, you can customize your view. So maybe there's only certain columns that you want to appear. And then once you've got a view that really makes sense for you, you can actually save that as your default view. So every time you log in, and this only applies to you and your account and your profile, but it'll show the fields that you want to look at and then be able to pull that down very easily. Another thing to highlight here under report options is hidden fields. So there are some fields or pieces of data that we don't include in our normal participant report. One of those would be like the number of years that somebody has participated in, and it's matching by different data. You actually have some options to choose from. So that's something to, if you're not finding a piece of information when you download a participant report or you're looking at it in your dash, check the hidden fields. It might be in there as well. All right, and then under export options, so you can export what you've customized with your view, which columns you want to do, and you put in search parameters, and you can download just what that sort of custom report has created, or you can export all. And I typically do that because I always forget to bring some column down. So I like to look at everything and then manipulate in Excel, because I'll get too far into my Excel manipulation and formatting and colors, and then I'm like, shoot, I forgot to bring down 2 fields I really, really need. But that's your choice, and it gives you all this flexibility to do it the way that works best for you. And then you can choose how you want to export it, as a CSV, as a Google Sheet, as a PDF. Another feature from this dropdown that you can utilize is the daily registration summary. So that's really helpful to see over kind of the past week how things are going, and you can see like what are your best dates for registration. It could parallel what you're doing with your marketing activities to understand what's working and what's not. Then you can also build bib labels from here, which we know if you ever struggled with merge fields in Microsoft Word and Excel, or you just don't want that extra work and having to jump to another software to do that, or you don't have a license for that, you can do it right here as you're doing all your other work and reporting. And then another really cool feature, which is pretty new, is you can save that custom list you've created. So you want this specific event from this year, and you want these 5 columns. You can export that list to our email system, and then use that custom list you just created to email and pull down those fields as data replacement tags to make a really custom and personalized message. And that's something that is very powerful and also reduces the potential for error, because you're not bringing down information in an export and then trying to import it all back in. If you are importing data, you can actually look at a specific import that you've done and delete it if you need to. And then we wanted to note that if you're really comfortable with race day scoring and you've got data within there and you're trying to push that over to RunSignup, it is going to batch in batches of 500, and you can delete those specific batches. So that gives you, again, some additional customization. And then the not registered report, this is actually sort of a series of reports that you can see in the submenu to the right under reports and not registered. And that gives you some really good insights into your data. So maybe someone's reached out and you're trying to wonder, why don't I see them as an active registrant? You might find them over here in the fact that they were a transfer, maybe they deferred. You can also run a report to see who started their registration and at least gave you an email address, but didn't complete their registration. And those are called incomplete registrations, that bottom one there. The dropout report is especially helpful as well, because that's going to show everybody who has transferred, who's deferred, or who has gotten refunded. So again, really helpful when you're doing your customer service. All right, race renewals. Please don't start over. So there's so many benefits to renewing your race as opposed to creating a brand new one each year, or doing the absolutely terrifying concept of editing your current year for next year without renewing it. Yikes, please don't do that. One benefit is that it's going to maintain the same URL year over year. So if you've got that posted on other sites, maybe you've got affiliates, partners, other run clubs, you don't have to ask them to update that website because it stays the same. It's going to also house all your result sets, your photos, all at one single URL. It doesn't change every year. You'll also be able to tap into that year over year reporting, so you can really analyze how are you doing compared to last year or even the last 2 years. And then you've got the options within email marketing to select 1, 2, or maybe all past years to email out to everybody, or maybe you want to exclude 1 or 2 years because it was the pandemic and that population did it virtually, so and you only want to speak to those that have participated in your on-site live version of your event. So a lot of flexibility and just so much power that gets activated and revealed when you're using a renewal. And the way that you do it is that there should be a pop-up that says your race has passed. Go ahead and renew your race by hitting that button. Or you might see at the top it says it's time to renew your race, and there's a green button to renew. If you're not finding that for some reason, though, you just don't see it, type in renew in your race dashboard, which is also a nice pro tip. You know, if you're ever curious, like, oh, where was that drop down, or what submenu am I supposed to use to customize this? If you just type in your race dashboard in that menu search field, you're probably going to get to what you need. So if you need to set up a coupon, just type the word coupon. Anything that allows you to customize coupons is going to appear in the drop down. All right, and then what's renewed? I'm not going to go through all these, but you can see here there's lots of things that are actually brought over. But if you want to toggle that setting at the top right-hand corner, you see, do you want to copy your existing race settings and say no? It will then drop down and show you all these different options that you can pick and choose which things you bring over and which things you don't. And then other things that we cannot cover today, or we would be on here for hours, maybe days, but we just want to highlight. So email notifications, those automatic ones that go out after somebody registers, how do you customize those? How do you set additional participant caps to limit an event versus as compared to another event, and not necessarily across the entire race? Postpone and cancel tools that give people options, whether they want to get a refund or defer their registration if you have to cancel. Multi-race registration, if you've got multiple races across the platform, how do you offer that to be able to be purchased in one transaction, and even offer a discount to encourage those multiple signups? How do you group things so that you have a cleaner display if you've got lots and lots of events, but there's categories that you want to indicate, and that's easier for them to view as they're choosing what they want to do. Offering vouchers that give folks credit to use towards a future race. Features that are for our virtual and challenge. I mean, so many incredible tools there. Again, if you haven't tried it before, still consider hybrid options are great as people are still coming out of the pandemic. Wait lists and lotteries and reserved entries for really high demand races, or for our VIPs, special lists of people that you only want access at certain times or to get certain pricing. Also deferral management, event transfers, race transfers, allowing people really to be empowered to manage themselves. You can charge fees for them to do these things, and you're not doing it manually. It's all happening on the back end. You can run reports to your heart's delight to see how that all happened automatically behind the scenes without you doing any other work. And then bulk participant management, if you need to defer a large group of people or issue a $5 refund to everybody, those are ways to really help you save time. And also our store, it's a standalone way to sell merchandise or parking vouchers or an upgrade to a VIP experience for somebody that's outside of the registration flow. So they don't have to sign up, they can just go to the store and you can offer any items there. You can even offer, just set up a store for race merch that doesn't even have your race registration tied to it. So there's so many flexible ways to use that. And finally, some additional things, shipping address management. Somebody signs up a year in advance for your race. You want the ability for them to go in and change that. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of emails and trying to do that on your own. Having flexible pricing, age-based, multi-person or multi-event discounts, sales tax, which we cover a lot of that just by default. We work with a third party that makes sure all of that is kosher as well as it can be, but there is some additional customizations that you can do. Insurance, if people want to get refunded and pay a fee up front to help with that. And then volunteer platform. So if you want to house everything there and not use another platform to manage your volunteers and have them sign up somewhere else, that can all be housed together. Then you could also manage your sponsors and have sponsor. I mean, the list is very long, as you see, of things that you can additionally do on our platform. And even this is not exhaustive. So, I mean, just an incredibly deep and comprehensive system. If you're, as you can see, for those of you that are new to us, and maybe some of you are being reminded of things that you forgot that we do. So with that, we're at the end of our session for sort of the registration setup piece. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and take a 5-minute break, maybe a little less than 5. I want to try to move us through. Of course, you know, anytime you can excuse yourself if you need to use a restroom or grab some water or something. But let's do a group sort of 5 minutes. We'll come back at 1:10. So it's 1:05. It just turned 1:06. So we're just taking a really brief break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about marketing. So we'll see you back here in just a little bit. All right. We are coming back to everybody. Get a snack, use the facilities, do whatever you needed to do to keep the energy up. Hi, Matt. How are you doing?
Doing great, Steve. How are you?
Good. Guys, many of you are, may know Matt, or if you don't, you may very well get to know him soon. But Matt Sinclair, our lead technical account manager, has just been with the company for many years and has helped countless customers and athletes, and really a wealth of information. Also very instrumental in creating a lot of the content that you're seeing today, and is a guest this time to help us through a couple of the sections on marketing. So we are going to jump into marketing. Also, I just wanted to, before I get into the rest of that, or into this presentation, if you have questions, some people have found their way to that in the GoToMeeting dash. So go ahead and throw some questions. Nancy, who is moderating, is answering some of those. In the interest of time, we want to make sure we get through all the content that we have today so that you all can get your certification and move on. One person did ask about, is timing going to be covered? So this presentation is actually really focused on RunSignup and the registration piece and all of those related things that are sort of outside of actually timing using race day scoring or Race Director or any other tool. So that's something that is a different certification, a different training. So I just wanted to, since that was a pretty high level question that I wanted to address, so you aren't waiting for the shoe to drop that never drops. So again, we're going to move into marketing. I think this is really critical conversation as we are, obviously still coming out of the pandemic, seeing the trends with registration a little bit lower than maybe some of us want to be. So how do we use all the resources at our fingertips and do it in a cost-effective way? And that's the focus that we've always had, to make sure that we're bringing these tools to you that are free and really powerful. So the topics that we're going to cover today, so just understanding at a high level the marketing tools that are available. Talk about email marketing. Next gen email is here. Eventually it's going to be just email marketing as we sunset our legacy email system. Talk about referral refunds and swag rewards that really help activate and motivate folks to sign up and really help grow your participation. And then talk about a free website, which a lot of you are setting up websites for your clients and your customers. So talk about how you can really unlock the potential there. And then coupons, to really motivate folks to sign up. And then how do we make sense of all of this so that we can tweak what we're doing from a marketing standpoint to be more effective in the future. So, and also I wanted to just pause on our sort of philosophy here at RunSignup about marketing. First of all, your data is your data. We are not, obviously it's housed on our databases because it needs to in order to actually work with all our functionality and for you to do your reporting, but we're not pulling those reports and advertising to other people to come to your race. And more importantly, we're not going to your people and trying to advertise other people's races. So there's none of that. We're not selling any of the data. That is all yours. You own that. And then we really believe the most effective email marketing is coming from sources you trust. So what that means is that, certainly there's a place for paid ads, and we don't want to discourage from using those kind of ways to promote your event. But when folks are seeing a friend or family member on social media promoting an event, they're going to trust that source more than a paid ad, right? So we've designed many of our tools to help those people be empowered and be able to basically act as ambassadors for you, and you're not really paying them except for maybe some discounts or some refunds, which we'll get into in a little bit. But it's certainly a much cheaper option than the money that you're going to spend on a paid ad. And then technology matters. We believe that you should be able to have really quick and easy access to these kinds of tools so that you can track and optimize all of your marketing activities and do it such that you're not adding these large line items to your budget when it's already getting squeezed from all the increases related to inflation and just labor rates. We want to give you free and effective tools that are going to help you. So how do you sort of operate as a timer with marketing tools? So first of all, these are all self-serve, and it can be self-serve for you as the timer or as your client, your customer, or your race. So you can offer it as a service. You could include that in your timer fee, and that gives you sort of a competitive advantage to the timer that's only doing timing and not doing any marketing. or you can add that as an additional service and charge extra for that, which I think is absolutely acceptable and fair, because it does require a bit more of your time, and you're certainly bringing a lot of expertise and guidance and coaching to them that they value, and that does come, you know, with a price, and understandably so. It's going to improve your relationship. So even if you're letting them manage things, you can operate as a coach and guide them along, making sure that they're unlocking every piece of our platform, that they know about everything that they can actually access, how to get started on it. Again, you could charge for some initial setup, or you can just be that awesome guru and have many hero moments where you're helping them really, you know, optimize what they're doing from a marketing standpoint. And then I wanted to note, in our Race Day Timer newsletter, we always have a section that speaks to race directors for timers. And what's great about that is that you can just quickly forward the newsletter or click on the link to the specific blog that talks about how to regrow your participation, send that link to them. It takes a few seconds. And again, another hero moment. You're looking out for them. They know you're thinking about them, and that you want them to succeed. And ultimately, of course, you're going to succeed if they do. And then also custom source tracking. That's a way to really effectively look at how your marketing campaigns are performing, and then utilizing Facebook Pixel and Conversion API and how to support that. So we go into email marketing. There's several layers of sort of things that are related to email marketing within our platform. Why we want to use it? First of all, it is free. You can include unlimited contacts. You can send unlimited emails. And for those of us that have used other platforms, and I'll highlight one, not to single them out, but I'm just more familiar. I know that with MailChimp, every time I get a certain threshold, my monthly fee goes up. And so I got to a point where I was almost paying up to $400 for a month just for housing my contacts. And that didn't even include any emails that were going out. Not that there was a charge, but that if I wasn't doing anything, I was still going to pay $400 a month. So you can avoid that budget line item by coming over, bringing your data, and using email marketing with RunSignup. We support custom lists and as many as you want to bring in from past data. We do automatic deduplication, so you don't have to go through and scour your list. It's just going to take out the duplicates and only send one email to everybody. It's integrated with RunSignup data, so that therefore you can look at current and previous participants and pick and choose who you want to send to, as well as pull down information from them, either that you've brought in as a custom list or information that the platform has collected, like a t-shirt size, or maybe they paid for an add-on for parking at the venue or a VIP upgrade, right? And you can include those pieces to make really personal messages when you're emailing through our platform. You can also schedule pre-race emails so that there's a really fast check-in process. And we know that there's all kinds of things that can, excuse me, that can happen on race morning. So try to avoid that by sending out the QR code in an email in advance. Send out results links after the event. That's just a better experience for everybody, makes everyone operate more efficiently and effectively. And then our email builder and templates in our next gen email, which is referred to as email V2 in the dashboard, are just incredible. Very intuitive, drag and drop functionality, leaps and beyond our legacy system, which was also very good and solid, but now even more sort of visually pleasing for you to have that experience and making sure that you understand what it's going to look like before it goes out. And then also we recently this year added organizational email. So outside of races, you can have an email account and then pull in information from your races on RunSignup, but it can operate independently and not be tied to a specific race. So automated emails, our registration follow-ups are really effective. So think of this as sort of a way to do a drip campaign. So after somebody registers, you might want to push out proactively email communication to folks, but maybe there's certain messages that you think hit in a timely way after someone registers that you don't want to have to think about all the time and constantly keep bringing lists in and sending out. Just set it such that, after 3 days, or in this case, it's 1 day after, it's going to send a specific email to somebody after they registered, and it's going to talk about a certain topic. So think about a focus for each one of these, and you can do one, you can do multiple. And the first one, maybe you're talking about referrals, and you're reminding people that, hey, you got a specific unique URL after you registered, share that out. You're going to get credit for it, and you might be able to even earn refunds or swag rewards. Okay, and then maybe you send out a second email a week after they've registered, reminding them that this is a fundraiser and there's a goal that everybody's working towards, both individually and collectively as a race that we want to reach. And by the way, we've got these amazing incentive levels that we want you to work towards, like a sweatshirt or access to our VIP area at the race. So think about those really key messages and when are the best times for those to hit and how you can automate this to cut down your time and work that you have to put in. Another cool email feature is our email capture pop-up. So this is something that appears when they go to the registration or the race website on RunSignup for your race, and you can customize the language here. You can also customize the title, make it bold and short is a best practice. You can add call to action, or well, it includes a call to action button. You can customize the text on that, and then you can determine how it operates or how it behaves. Do you want it to slide in? Do you want it to pop up? You can also add a different time delay, customize that, or when they're leaving the site. So that way it can kind of look and feel the way you want it to. And then here's a special tip. Don't forget to actually email that list. Some folks turn this on and then don't do anything with the information that they're collecting. This is a great way to learn about people that are interested in your race who maybe haven't signed up yet or want to learn more. Do something with that, because these are not passive folks that you're pulling to get to you. They've already gotten to you. Now take action and help them take further action by registering for your race. So with Email V2, which again is our new next-gen email platform, this is, or tool, there's several ways that you can create the email. You can do it from scratch, and that's where that drag and drop functionality allows you to bring in different content pieces. You can also select from some basic templates that we're adding to. You can also create your own templates, which is incredible if you're looking to have some consistency, especially if you have multiple team members that are working on these emails to make sure everything looks and feels the same way, that the messaging is on point and no one's deviating if they're creating everything from scratch. And then if you've created your own email in another platform like MailChimp that you just love the way that looks, you can bring over that HTML and not lose that look and feel. And you can do that on those platforms without having to pay anything. And so that way you're still getting the design you maybe have been used to, and then you're getting all the benefits of not paying anything by sending the emails through RunSignup. The other benefit that I alluded to earlier is this custom tag mapping, or what we also refer to as data replacement tags. So when you're bringing in data, every one of those columns that you import as a custom list can be used to then insert into an email and make a personalized email that looks like you spent hours or days on for thousands of people, but you literally spent seconds. But what it does is it helps people understand that you know who they are, you honor their participation and their involvement and their connection to your event. And then on the other side, not just with the custom list, but as they are registering, again, that information is being collected, and you can use those pieces to then let them know on race week, hey, we've got this size shirt waiting for you, and we know that you've got a special parking place that you've paid for, and all of those things can, you can also even mention like what age you have in there in the system for them. So if somebody, for some reason, mom got the birthday wrong off by a few days or even years, let it, help people catch those things in advance and not on race day where it's creating a line at your registration or timing tent. And then this is great. So when you've got when you're pulling in or wanting to do the custom tag mapping, you can pull from multiple lists. You want to make sure though that if you are doing that with custom lists, that the name of the field in each one of those lists is identical. So that way, it knows to pull down that one across all the lists. But you can also make dynamic lists where you're pulling in, a certain custom list of all your people that have registered over many years, but you're excluding folks that have already registered. So you're only sending an email out and marketing to folks that have participated in the past but haven't registered this year. And then this just shows an example of what the custom tag mapping looks like. So the percentage symbols are indicating sort of where that tag is going to be placed. And then in the center, first underscore name is the actual column header. And then you can see Matt on the right is what data was for that record when they pulled Matt's email down for the Vancouver Trail Run. All right, so our race website, again, a very powerful tool and something that's fairly simple and easy for you to do for your customers and potentially add to your revenue by doing that for them. So again, it's free, so you're not having to pay any sort of hosting service for this. or any sort of design, like with GoDaddy's website builder. This is free on RunSignup. It's marketing for you 24/7. It's optimized for search engines and mobile responsiveness. Like I said, I've been an organizer in the past, and it's funny, I would spend so much hours and time and money on our website apart from RunSignup that housed a ton of content. And whenever you would search for our event name, it was always number 2. Number 1 was always RunSignup. So better SEO than my actual event website that I was using outside of RunSignup. And I'm fine with that, because that if that's the number 1 hit is where they can actually take action and give me money to register and support the cause that we're trying to raise money for. Absolutely, I'll take that any day. So just incredibly powerful the way that our pages show up in search engines. And it's really easy to build professional looking cover pages. We're going to look at that in a little bit here, and that's sort of an additional functionality away from just the default layout. And then yeah, and the websites will automatically update based on race details. So you're not having to necessarily hunt and choose or hunt and find every piece of data if you change your date that you may have housed. Now, you may have done some custom content that you want to double check if you are putting static text in, but it's taking elements from your race and inserting them throughout different parts of your website. And so you're changing it once instead of 10 times. And it just makes for, again, less error, and you're definitely going to save some time. Another really cool feature is our BYO domain. So if you've got a website right now, a name that people know, and maybe it's the title of your race, in this case, our example, myrace.com, it makes for something obviously just a little bit easier for people to use, and it allows to keep that traffic that people are always going to on the legacy website, but now it's pointing or taking them to the RunSignup registration page. And again, you can avoid all that extra duplicate work that happens when you're trying to update both your registration site and another site at the same time, excuse me, but you haven't lost the ability to still use that vanity domain that you've built so much brand and value in. A free SSL certificate is included. It's mobile responsive. I think that was one of the most impressive things I noticed in moving websites over, was on any device that I was looking at, it always looked professional, amazing, and didn't, stretch images, didn't cut things off in a way that wasn't helpful or couldn't be read. And then it connects to your race data for up to the second information. So, you are able to pull in different data pieces and elements on your RunSignup website in a way that when you were using that domain name outside of RunSignup, you were having to do all of that manually. Customizing the website. So most of the customization you're going to be able to do is going to be under race and then race website. So this is where you can go in and configure one of the features under the race theme is whether you want to have a vertical or a horizontal navigation. So you can play with kind of the look and feel of it. You can see it showing you with these sort of grayed boxes what that will potentially look like. And then under race theme, you can pick your color scheme. So we've got some defaults that look great and are designed to complement each other, but obviously you've spent a lot of time building brand equity and value with your logos and other branding elements. So you can go ahead and create your own color scheme. And our designers are just incredible and have made it such that when you pick these different colors, and we have some help text there so you can understand sort of where those colors are being used, but they'll also apply certain layers or filters on top to make sure that text is readable and that it's accessible. So folks that do have any challenges, visual challenges, we'll make sure that that contrast is enough that they'll be able to read and that we're compliant with ADA requirements. And you can also preview the choices. And even if you do switch over a color scheme, like it's not the end of the world, right? You can always revert back to a default or something you were using before, and you don't, like maybe other websites, have to go through and spend hours changing every little color back. So you can go flip between different schemes to see what makes the most sense for your brand and what looks best to you. So you can update your logo and banner under race website, race theme. You may have done that in the wizard that we talked about earlier, but the suggested banner size as a reminder is 1200 by 400. And then custom content. So this is where you can really develop your race website into something that looks like a professional website outside of your normal, what you would consider a registration form site. And so you can add as many custom content sections as you want, and then turn those custom content sections into actual pages. So you can have a page on parking, or a page on the race description, or a page on the race day schedule. And then you can also nest those together to create menu options. So there's drop downs that really, again, give it that professional, organized look that people can find everything they need on that site and not have to go to another source. So why cover pages? So I'm going to show you an example. It'll be really clear. And this is a race that Matt has set up at the Vancouver Trail Run, and you will see why there are so many benefits. But first of all, it makes for a more customizable homepage. It is incredibly more visually appealing, appealing, and you can add different elements like videos and images that are not included in our default layout. You can also add data components. So if you are turning on donations and you have fundraising, you can show a thermometer that shows the goal and then the progress towards that goal, and that is being updated in real time as donations are being made, and it can be featured prominently on your landing page. And then it allows you to highlight things that are priorities. Maybe you really, and we recommend highlighting your referral program. Show that on your homepage by developing or incorporating that into your cover page. Some tips and kind of pro tips, if you will. So add a slider to your header and add multiple header options. That makes for a dynamic and gives some motion to it, which grabs people's attentions. We've got some recommended sizes here for you, and mentioned the croppy tool so that you don't have to crop something in Photoshop and then bring it in. You can bring in the image that you have as is, and then crop that to however you want it to appear, and it's always going to scale. So it's not going to stretch, either direction to make it look manipulated or off perspective. We recommend that you alternate your colors and images for maximum impact, so you're not having just a washed out look. It's something interesting to the eye that makes it move from one side to the next. And you can drag and drop all of these sections after you've set it up originally to kind of give it a fresh look every once in a while, especially if folks are coming back, all year long for different information. Like don't let their eyes become complacent, and highlight new things that you want to talk about, which make more sense as you get closer to race day. And then one little tip is when you're highlighting your swag, and that's another priority that I think we always recommend, use it as a description image. So dropping it within the description of the content block instead of using it as a background. That way you have a little bit more control over how much of that is going to appear. But I think one of the fun things about our cover page is that you can really play with a lot of pieces and customize and make it, and it's flexible enough to make it so that it really looks great for you, and you're not bound by these really specific parameters. So I don't know, which one looks better, Matt? The left side or the right side? Good call. I would say our right side here is much more visually engaging. That's when a cover page is turned on the left. Doesn't look bad, right? It's still very professional but also basic, right? That's our default layout. So on the right, you've got the call to action buttons. We've got different colors being used as the background. We've got a video. We've got social media icons to easily share out the link on social media. So it's really a great way to sort of add, sort of up the ante and bring your website to the next level. And then here's some great examples from some other events in the past that you can see. They're not using any extra custom HTML to do this. They're using just our standard sort of tools to bring in different content blocks, and they're using their colors, which, even though they're using the same tools, these look like very different websites and speak very specifically to their brand and their race and what they're offering. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Matt now, who's going to now talk about a really, really important and valuable tool, referrals.
Great, thanks, Steve. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's looking to, get back to in-person running to grow your races, and we got just the tools for your race to do that with our referral program. So we're going to touch base on, easy ways to make it a social experience, because that's how you get more people to the race. Is they want to do it with their friends and family. You can do that by adding a team component, and then there's different incentive programs that you can do. If you haven't had some sort of incentive program to start, I recommend choosing one and sticking with one approach to kind of get your feet wet, see how it goes. But you can get more advanced and kind of couple and double down on a lot of these to really be aggressive at growing your race in the future. So we'll start with the social team. So Herman briefly touched on this, but you want to set up a social team to give people a just fun way to participate together, whether it's coming up with a fun team name. You can have a competition of who wears the most funny shirts, who dresses up as a costume, who has the largest team. This example right here is from the Scott Coffee Run. Any team that has 20 or more members gets a free pair of running socks. So you don't have just any type of giveaway. Once you get 20 people on your team, then you get a free pair of running socks. So that encourages people to reach out to their friends and family to have those large teams, and they'll have teams of upward of 100 people at their race. When you are setting up social teams, generally speaking, you want to include all of the events, because it doesn't matter what event they're doing. It's just to say that I'm doing a shared experience with somebody. But you do have the ability to say, hey, these teams are only for the 5K, 10K, and we don't need to get the kids run involved with the teams. But you do have the ability to choose a specific event type for social teams. During registration, there's options to either skip that you don't want to join a team. You can create a brand new team, and that's where that description is when you're setting up the team type, or you can join an existing team. Team captains also have the ability to share their team joining link, so they can easily post on social media. They can send email to their friends or what have you, and that will automatically default them to their existing team during the registration process. So that can be something that you can communicate using that email marketing system with team captains to get them to easily grow their team by sharing a special team joining link. So we briefly also touched on team size rewards. This is one of those incentive programs where normally people are paying the default race fee or the general admission fee, but once they reach a certain threshold, like getting to that 20 team size or what have you, then the discount kind of kicks in. And so you want to treat those people that signed up early, you want to give them the discount, but not until they reach that threshold. And that's where you set up the team size registration fee refunds by group size. And just one trick here when you're setting up these settings is on the left-hand side is the first part where you're setting up the pricing. And then on the right-hand side will be just beneath that where you're setting up that refund trigger. And the easy trick is when you're looking at the details. So on the left-hand screen side, this says after member 9 joins the group. After 9 comes 10. So that's where the details say members 10 plus are going to pay that $15 rate. And how you always set this up properly is that detail section of members 10 plus is always going to match that after refund number trigger, and that's a 10 as well. So that's just an easy way. A lot of times we might see people say after member 10 joins, then refund once the 10 person joins, and you're kind of actually skipping that person. So you always want to make sure the details member 10 plus is going to match after registrant 10 registers, so you always set up correctly. If you have multiple events, you're going to want to kind of hold shift or control depending on what you're doing to select all the events, because you want to be inclusive. You don't want to give a certain threshold for one race and not give a refund because they joined a different event. So you might have to set up different price periods for that, but it can all kind of take effect. And then another thing that we see that is kind of often done incorrectly is the ensure registration balance. And I recommend this is either one of two numbers. If you want to allow people to basically earn a free registration, and this comes in handy when you're kind of doubling your different incentive programs, is you can say that's 0. It doesn't matter. You can earn a refund. You can use a coupon. You can refer people. You can be that first person that joins, and then once you reach the team size, you get that refund. We can never refund more than what the person paid. So having 0 there just means like, hey, they can earn and get as much of a discount as they're qualified for. The other number that you can put in there is what is that net discounted rate. So in our example, the general admission price is probably $25, and so after 10 and up, it's 15. So for that ensure registration balance, you say, hey, everybody on the team, we need at least $15 for our race to be profitable. So you're either putting in 0 for earning a free registration or whatever that discounted rate is. So the referral refund and swag rewards is another great incentive. So I would definitely recommend starting with either the team incentives or the referral refund and swag reward program. We reached the highest incentives for this, where we saw about 17% of registration referrals in 2020 come from the referral program. Obviously a little easier with the virtual and everything is kind of online at that point, but we did see a decent number of that still hold true even last year when races were getting back in person. So if you don't have a referral program, you definitely want to turn it on. At a minimum, just to turn it on and see who's sharing. You can use that to see like who referred the most people. Even if you didn't incentivize them to do it, likely a sponsor might have given you some sort of gift card or whatever. And instead of raffling it away to a random door prize, you can actually, kind of quote unquote, randomize it by giving it to the person who referred the most people. And that kind of ties down with the swag reward program as well. So maybe you don't necessarily have extra gear that you want to give away, but you can, do all kinds of stuff, whereas you're just kind of giving away gift cards for the people that are referring the most. So you'll see here that, you want to kind of keep that threshold going. So if I've already earned a free race, you want to kind of keep that person referring more because they could earn either a special swag item that you have for, whatever you're doing for like an ambassador program, or you can give away additional free races that you also offer. So lots of cool stuff that you can do. And you want to keep that threshold very high because that helps with your return on investment. So maybe, I only referred 1 or 2 runners. Well, you got those 1 or 2 runners for free and you didn't have to give a refund or any gear to that person. So just to kind of itemize like the process of setting up a referral program, you definitely need to set that up first, is to get it set up. Then you also want to promote it. We briefly touched on the automated referral and follow-up emails. That is a great way to kind of keep that carrot dangling in front of the runners. They've already registered. At the time of registration, they can share that image, which you also want to customize the image and the text because that's like a free viral ad that you have. But then maybe 5 or 7 days later, you're saying, hey, don't forget to refer your friends and family, and keep that going and show them the swag that they're getting, or show them a potential sponsor gift card that they might earn for referring 10 people or so. So those registration follow-up emails are great and really important for a successful referral and swag campaign. So here's the referral program in action. We also have kind of a separate webinar if you really want to go on a deep dive on this, or you can just go to runsignup.com/swag and you can actually register for that test event to see it in action, where you're going through the registration process. Once you check out, you'll see the pop-up that you can easily share on social media or send out an email. And then what that's going to do is going to give that special embedded tracking link that anybody that clicks on it, it's going to say, oh, well, Matt shared that on social media. Steve clicked on it, so Matt gets credit for sharing Steve registering for the race. And you want to really customize that image, because as people are scrolling through social media, your race logo might be great, but a picture of smiling faces, people having fun at an event, whether you have a post-race party, that kind of stuff, you really want to highlight it because that's what looks fun. That's what gets people to stop and look at it, and they're more likely to click on something like that. We also have custom source tracking. Now this is different ways to make sure that your race is promoted. So whether you have a local running club that you want to give them a link and you really need to check out how many people actually clicked on that link, you can put this anywhere. So Steve was mentioning he had his own separate website. You can put these custom source tracking links on various places on your website, other affiliates, partners, vendors, sponsors, whatever you want. You can give them each their own custom source tracking link, and you can see either how much registrations came from it, how many times people clicked on it, and if you did have to do some sort of paid advertisement or what have you, you can actually assign a dollar amount to that so you can really see your ROI. Now this custom source tracking doesn't get involved with cookies or anything like that. It's a direct correlation. If somebody clicked that link and then signed up, that's where it gets credit. Whereas other type of marketing mechanisms such as Facebook and things like that do have session and cookie tracking. So maybe the ad was served and then the cookie stays live for 30 days and then you come back and register, they'll take credit for that even though it wasn't a direct click from that ad. So the correct amount of clicks was probably somewhere in between, where RunSignup is just the direct, and then Facebook actually probably showed the ad and then you were thinking about it and eventually signed up. So the total number of, advertising and then people that registered from advertising is probably somewhere in between if you're using both. And then coupons. Obviously, everybody wants to get a discount, have a deal. If you're not comfortable with, having discounts by team size, or you don't want to do a referral program to get into the refunds, you can just give people a coupon. The only problem with the coupon is they have to use it at registration. Whereas, once they register and then they're made aware of a coupon, that can get into a little bit of a customer service, like, well, I forgot to use my coupon, and then you might get into a refund. But you can do kind of whatever you want with that. You can add bulk codes for various sponsors. That way each sponsor has their own coupon code. They can use it X amount of times. You can do a percentage discount, a dollar discount. And what you want to do whenever you do a coupon, you want to give it a tag, and think of a tag as a category. So in that mention where you have 5 different sponsors, you don't necessarily want to give them all the same coupon, but you do want to see how much in sponsor coupons did I give away. So you would list that coupon for each of the sponsor, you would tag it as a sponsor tag, and then you can easily run a report to see what you gave away in sponsored discounts. So there's lots of advanced options here. You can make it to where the coupon is only good for a special add-on. You can even do event specific, like this coupon is only good for my 10K, but it's not good for the kids run, and various options like that. And then the best way to do a coupon is have it auto apply. So at the bottom of the coupons page is a little tool that gives you a pop-up, and you just type in the coupon. Now, it doesn't generate this link anywhere. It's just showing you the structure of the link. So you would just copy that link, and then you can add it directly into an email. So on the right-hand side, it's showing that you created an image, and the user just has to click that image in the email, which then brings them to the registration, and it's applying that coupon automatically with registration. So as soon as they get to the checkout page, it's going to show the full price. It's also going to show the coupon, so that way it sees that they're getting a discount from registering from that specific ad or email. So definitely use that auto-applied coupon discount. It just makes it easy, and then it cuts out that extra customer service issue of having to do a partial refund at the end. Analytics. So after we're marketing, we want to kind of see like what happened, right? You can do Monday morning quarterback, and you can also do this in real time as the race is going on. So on your dashboard, we have a race insights. It's similar to Google Analytics if you're familiar with that, but this is purpose-built for your race. So that's the chart with all the graphs and the lines and things like that. We also have the blue race title tile that has a signups option. So if you click on the signups button, it's going to expand out and just kind of give you a quick this year, last year, and year before last comparison, so you can see how you're trending. So the signups button is going to trend off of basically registration. And so we're right in January, but maybe you guys had opened races, in late November for Black Friday, or you've already, got started. That year you started in 2022, but it goes into 2023. So you're looking at when registration is open for those comparisons. Some of the other dashboard charts is literally a trailing 12 months. So it's looking at today being January 10th, and how many registrations did you have since January 11th of 2022? That would be a full trailing 12 months. There's also different source options. So right underneath the graphs, you can see where did the source come from on the web, where did it come from via emails, and then any custom source tracking codes that you add, you can literally drill in and see how many people clicked, how many people registered, and how much revenue was generated from all those registrations. So here's a preview of that signups button. So again, you have the race status light that you always want to make sure is green. You have the race website button, which flips you to the front end, and then you have that signups button, which is going to drop down and expand this information. So it's a really quick, just look at where the numbers stack, just to get a bird's eye level view of what's going on. And then once you get into the race insights dashboard, we have these tabs where you can kind of just look at the overview. There is a edit button to the right of that. So the default, you just have the page views, the registrations and transactions. But if you're working with a nonprofit, you definitely want to click that edit button, and you want to pull in the donation option, so they can see donations being done in real time, which days they're coming in, things like that, which could track with a promotional email or a kickoff email that you did. We also have a transactions tab to look at stuff that's going on, promotions, which shows different various loyalty lists, coupon reports, demographics to get an idea of what type of runners you're going, which might be important for you when you're determining age group awards. You can see like what's the general age range of people registering, and then you can get specific registration information such as registrations by price period and other related reports. So here's a little screenshot of the source information that's underneath of those charts. So the referral source is basically which website did they click on last to get here. Direct means that they literally typed in or clicked on the link that you shared in an email. Google is always going to be one of the top searches. People are going to Google and they're typing in your race name, which is what Steve mentioned when the SEO was showing the RunSignup page prior to his page. And then there's various affiliate calendars. Maybe you're, as a timer, you have some sort of affiliate calendar that lists all of the races that you're timing in the area. Maybe runners in your local area will find that. And then you also have the email source and then those custom source tracking. So you can see, hey, I sent this email. What did it generate? Those automated emails will also pull in here so you can see, oh, this incomplete registration email, it did, eventually get 10 people who, failed to register, but then they eventually came back because I did send that, incomplete email. And then here's the charts and graphs. This is the one I mentioned, which is a trailing 12 months. So when it says year to date or past year, it's literally trailing 12 months. Now you do have the ability, that gray button in the top right that you see above the orange referrals, you can customize this. And a good option for that customization piece is it is tied to your specific user or login. So you're not messing with your race director's view of this. It's a view that you can do. But maybe they're more, they care more about donations, so they want to kind of expand that, or they want to make a big, nice, full chart of donations. They can customize that and show whatever data that they want to do, and it doesn't affect anybody else on their race team that's helping with the race. So they can get whatever real-time data they want at their fingertips. So some basic marketing features that are going to be under the promotion tab that you should definitely familiarize yourself with, at least at a basic level. The links tab is really great because it automatically has the QR codes in there. We've also recently added like a text option where you can text to get the race link, you can text to donate, you can text to see the results. So if you're doing any type of signage, again, like we mentioned, when you're setting up that race URL is going to stay the same year over year over year. So the race director can create nice professional signage that is, you can just put up on race day and it's always going to link. People can scan their phones and go right to it, and then they can bring it back out next year because it's always going to go to the same page. So at your timing tent, instead of having a line of people, oh, what's my race time? You can share that specific link to that race and just have a QR code that people can scan and see their results. So while you're working on different stuff, you don't have to also field participants wondering what their race time was. The social media links in here, definitely get with your race director to find out, do they have a Facebook page? Do they have Twitter? Can they put the Instagram page on there? And that's going to have links to help the participants find out, where they are on social media to kind of join in their message and whatever they're doing as far as the race, especially if you're working with a nonprofit, you definitely want to put those in there. The referral tracking, we briefly touched on that. That lives under the promotion tab. That's where you're going to set up the referral tracking. It's where you're going to set up the social sharing. It's where you can manage the codes. You can view all the information of who got refunds, who's about to earn a refund, and things like that. And then the very last option under this is that custom source tracking. That's where you go in and you just name it, like, hey, this is going to be my email blast that I'm sending out, or hey, this is a sponsor. I'm going to give them a special link to put at the top of their landing page, and that way you can track those clicks. And then obviously, if the race is doing any type of marketing where they have Facebook marketing, they have their ad manager page, you want to plug in the Facebook Pixel, which now also deals with the conversion API. And basically, as a high-level view, a lot of things are now opt-in to tracking. And so since participants are not really electing to opt in to be tracked, we can't really serve who completed the registration via the browser by passing the session. So what the conversion API does is it basically passes it back server side. So Facebook knows that it served an ad and the person did complete the ad, but it's not tracking the person through that process. And then we also have Google Analytics for any type of advanced race that might need their own Google Analytics, and we will be supporting Google Analytics version 4 here shortly. So basic marketing report. So this goes back to that race insights dashboard that we briefly mentioned. That's the promotions tab. There's referral reports in here. There's coupon reports. You can see who's a repeat participant. So that's this loyalty report that's on the right side. You can see, how many people have done the race year over year. And then at the bottom, you can click the little button for the repeat participant report to actually see, who those repeat participants are. So then you can, devise a coupon and create that auto-applied coupon and download and send that custom list to people who've done the race 5 times or 10 times. And so you can say, hey, you've done the race 10 times, here's a $10 off coupon. Thanks for sharing in the success of our race, or something like that. Especially when you get to mile markers, such as the 10th anniversary of a race or something like that. You just kind of have fun with your marketing programs. Any little thing, any fun little holiday, whether it's a federally observed holiday, it could just be, maybe you're doing like some pizza run and today is National Pizza Day, right? You can give a silly coupon and you can track that all through the basic marketing reports. And then there's tons of stuff to do here. So again, depending on what level of service that you're offering, those are just the basic ones that we kind of did a little bit of a deep dive on. But all of this stuff is marketing, right? It's that professional race website. That's marketing. It's 24/7. It's working for the race. You put that custom content. You built the FAQ page. It's self-serve. People are coming to that race. Maybe they're trying to decide between a couple races in the area because, maybe they're happen to be on vacation and they don't really know the area, but this one race website looks really professional and this one is just kind of looks generic. They're probably going to go to the one that you spent some time on to put some nice fun photos on it because it looks like they're going to have a good time just based off of not knowing the race or anything like that. Email marketing, that it has marketing in the term. So you are offering marketing services if you're helping send out emails for customers, or if you're helping the automated emails and things like that. Definitely have a drip campaign. You use the dynamic list. So I can create a marketing plan and say, I want to send an email out on February 15th. I want to send an email out on March 1st, and I choose current participants. I'm setting it up now, but at the time of sending of those emails, it will respect that dynamic list, and whoever's a current participant will get that email. There's all kinds of other stuff. You have the social sharing that we briefly touched on. 1000% you should customize that. It should not be your race logo. It needs to be a fun marketing piece. If it doesn't have a smiling face in it, then you're doing it wrong. You should definitely do that. We also have more advanced marketing stuff like retargeting ads, Google AdWords, things like that. We do offer a MailChimp integration. So, obviously we have a free email system, but there are some advanced analytics that MailChimp has. So if you do like that, the MailChimp integration allows for people that register for the race, for them to get sent to your MailChimp list. So that way you can at least keep your contact list updated in real time. We mentioned the Google Analytics. You have the race insights that you can track with the custom source. So you can literally build your own marketing campaign. And then there's all kinds of other stuff that you can do by just sharing that you can join as a team. So all those basic stuff, whether it's a social team, whether it's a referral program, it's all marketing, and it's how you get the race to grow. And then if you can help that race grow, then they're going to come back to you because you are the race expert in that person's area. So it's a symbiotic relationship between you and the race director to help their race grow. I think that's it for me for marketing.
Matt, you did an amazing job. Thank you.
Just before 2.
Nice work. Appreciate your time with us, and hopefully you guys got a really nice overview, some details, some tips and tricks. But man, you can see how deep the marketing functionality and tools go. And we really encourage you to get in, and if you haven't already and you're just building out a race for the first time, build a dummy one just to test and start playing around with these things. Or play around with your own Facebook page as you share custom images. You can always delete things, don't do it on your company website, right? Or your company Facebook page. So again, thank you, Matt. We are going to now move to our fundraising session. So this will be the third of the sort of bulk of slide decks, and then we'll be closing up right after that. Before that, just take another really brief break. And I've got some I've had awesome guests so far. I've got a couple more that are awesome waiting in the wings here as we move on to our fundraising conversation. Let me just get teed up here and we will get going. Again, with those questions, guys, I think Nancy is doing a great job responding to those for you. If you're not getting your question answered, we are going to follow up with you afterwards to make sure you get that answer. If we have any time at the end and we can talk with the group, we will try to bring that on. But again, we'll follow up individually with you all. Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
Hey, Steve, I'm good. Good to be here. Thanks for having me on your talk show, Timer Certification Talk, which is my favorite show here on the RunSignup network. Very good show. So.
Yeah, we're pulling in some good numbers here, Chris. Really, the Nielsen ratings are going through the roof.
Glad to hear it. Very exciting.
They're just skyrocketing right now with the addition of you. We also have Elizabeth on, who's going to join us in a little bit here. I'm going to get us started on the fundraising conversation, and then I'll give a little bit more insight into our guests and what they're going to talk about. So with fundraising, things we're going to cover, why timers should care about fundraising to begin with. How do we set up simple donations and bring on charity partners, enabling those? How do we configure fundraising pages and teams and then allow fundraisers to then customize after that to really bring in those large donation numbers? What are some best practices? And then we're also going to cover TicketSignup, which is sort of an offshoot of sort of our fundraising functionality and what nonprofits we're using, and also a brand and really new tool that we launched this past year, I should say, in 2022. So why fundraising? Well, most races are fundraisers, right? I think that's where they sort of got their start, the origin story of races, where they were to raise money for a certain cause, or they're working with nonprofits. So obviously their main goal is to raise funds to work towards a certain cause or benefit, and helping them raise more. Guys, I mean, that is mutually beneficial. We all want to be successful. Like RunSignup wants to be successful, timers want to be successful, and the clients and customers that timers are serving, if you're helping them to raise a little bit of extra money because you're coaching them on all of these tools that you're learning about today, then again, going back to those hero moments, they're going to be so appreciative of that. And then they're more likely to return. That stickiness that Shelly was talking about earlier. I mean, man, if you can help them reach their fundraising goal or go beyond, there's some serious staying power with you as a partner going forward. And then with all of these different tools we're going to talk about in a little bit, it really makes sure that any fundraising components that get introduced still generates clean data so that you as a timer are going to be ready to time and produce results for your clients. And then the check-in app can be used for a great experience, including you can add custom fields, maybe those internal questions we talked about before, so that when somebody is walking up and you're checking them in, you have some special information about how they have participated as a fundraiser in the past or in this current year. And then if fundraising feels uncomfortable for you, or it feels like something just out of your realm, like you could go in and set up any kind of server connections and man, 30 kiosks at a massive 20,000 person race, but fundraising just feels like it's not in your realm. We have experts to help you through that. Chris is one of those, and you're going to learn a little bit more from him in a little bit. All right, simple donations, just ask. I mean, it does not hurt, and it takes you literally seconds to just add the ability for people to tack on a donation to the registration that they're already committing to. And what it does is it allows for a specific screen to be added to the registration flow, which calls attention to the charity or the cause. And you can customize the logo and the description that's going to appear in that step. And then we encourage you, and I'm going to get some best practices on this in a little bit, but include donation levels so that there's some standard giving and allows for just less barriers and quicker ways to donate. Where you're going to be doing most of your configuration, I had mentioned earlier on step one, you can do a quick enabling of donations and enter what you're expecting. And then further customizations are going to be done from your dashboard under donations and setup. And then descriptions can be added throughout, first in that donation section, but also in the charity setup. So this is really a chance for you to create a really motivating case, if you will, or a powerful reason why somebody should be donating, and use specifics, right? So if there's a specific person that's benefiting, or a group of people that's benefiting from this race and this cause, or a certain project that's going to be done, a new housing project for Habitat for Humanity, talk about that specific project as opposed to just talking in high-level terms. That helps people connect and visualize where their money is going to go in a deeper way, and again, increases that motivation. So as I mentioned, best practices for donation levels. If you don't have donation levels that are defaulting, the open donation field will show. So somebody can enter that in. You don't have to add the donation levels. But what I think donation levels do is it creates that one-click option, so it's easier and faster. Also, it allows you to customize it so that if a specific amount is tied to a certain benefit that's related to the cause, for example, $100 is going to pay for somebody who can't afford a mammogram if it's a breast cancer research walk. You can customize that donation level to signal what the benefit is. Otherwise, you could use it to talk about what does somebody earn when they make a certain donation level. So if I contribute $30, maybe I get a souped up or a better swag item like a long sleeve t-shirt. So do that to sort of signal to people, give them more reasons why they should donate. And then donation discounts, that is a great tool to use to incentivize people to go beyond just the registration piece. So if they reach a certain donation level, or they donate a certain amount, then give them a discount off of their registration fees. And you may think, well, that's just moving money around. Like now I'm forfeiting some registration money, but I'm earning some donation money. But obviously you're going to design this such that the donation and then netting out or reducing it by the discount that you gave on the registration is still going to net you a higher amount of revenue in the long run. So it's all about, it's playing to people want to get a deal, right? And so offer that ability to happen, as well as you're tying that to a behavior that increases your fundraising, and then ultimately your client's ability to support the cause. And then processing fees. So I think we typically see a lot of folks want to absorb the processing fees, so that when I'm making a $50 donation on top of my registration fee, I'm not seeing an additional processing fee being added to that necessarily. But I think a lot of people want their donation to be impactful. That's why they're giving a donation. So give them the options, and you can use that within our settings to allow them to select to make it go further. And you can even customize that message that is on the checkout screen to help them make that decision to go ahead and cover that processing fee. Now, charity partners, this is a very cool tool that has a bunch of functionality and one little piece, including this checkbox donation that you wouldn't necessarily think is here, but this is where it is, and I want to make sure everybody's activating it if you're doing some sort of cause-related registration. So charity partners, one or more you can add. It doesn't have to be just one. And when you're adding them, it gives you an opportunity on the same screen to invite your charity partners to then set up a payment account. And what this is doing is it allows them to then receive the funds directly when somebody's going through the registration flow, makes a donation, and selects a specific charity. And that's going to save you as a timer or as an organizer a ton of time from running reports and then having to maybe cut a check for their cut of it. Just make it really simple and easy, and then it empowers them to do so much on the back end without having to ask you to run reports. And then there's this transparency that arises, and trust. And everyone knows that at any point in time, you can see what money came over and what when you should expect payments, or where that last payment came from. And then they can also on their dashboard actually run reports. So you can run reports, they can run reports. So some of these best practices, create the charity partner, even if the race is the benefactor. And the reason is because there are some special, this checkbox donation I'm gonna get into a second. And then reminder that these customization options are very easy to do. So it's not a lot of work to then make it really compelling and on brand. There is that direct payment option I talked about, so encourage your charity partners to go through that process and set up the payment account. And the other piece is that this can open opportunities where if you're a timer and you're looking at races that have a nonprofit component, you can tout this functionality to them as a way to incentivize and add additional donations and increase their revenue overall. Okay, so the checkbox donation piece. So what this does is it basically adds a checkbox on the checkout screen right above the purchase payment button. And we have found that in general, $1 to $5 works best. I probably see more often anywhere like $2 or $3. But on average, about 12% are going to check this box. And so these are folks that did not make a donation in the registration flow prior. They're about to check out, and just with one single button, they add this to the total. They don't have to go back and repeat any steps, and they're going to add money onto this, which is overall going to increase the fundraising piece. Now, if you have multiple charities, you can actually set it so that it rotates randomly who that charity is, or which charity is going to be supported and which that checkbox donation is actually going to. So that's something that you don't have to then do manually. It's just automatically going to flip over. And we have found that by adding this checkbox, it's going to increase donation dollars threefold. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Now I'm going to get into, Chris is going to get into fundraising to talk about this very a special piece of our platform. And Chris, I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Happy to take over. It makes sense because, on our team, I'm the person who is sort of leading the charge on the sales side when it comes to peer-to-peer fundraising. So if you as timers or you have clients who are interested to learn more about those peer-to-peer fundraising tools, you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to talk more about what we can and can't do. But first, we'll talk about some fundraising basics. So, enabling fundraising allows participants to solicit donations from friends and family, and so increasing the reach of the event so you can raise even more money. So you turn on individual fundraising, allows just individuals to create fundraising pages and ask for donations. That's under fundraising, individual fundraisers, and general settings. For team fundraising, this allows individuals to join and create fundraising teams with shared goals and shared fundraising pages. This is also under fundraising, but under team fundraisers and general settings. So here's some more basics about fundraising. So fundraising pages can be automatically created if you choose that option, but they are always customizable by the participant. They can either customize them in the registration path as they're creating their fundraising page, or they can go back into them at any time from their profile and customize their fundraiser pages. They can show their fundraiser progress, both their individual and team fundraiser progress bars to their fundraiser goals to show their advancement. You can have the top fundraiser report, so you can keep the competition hot with top fundraiser data shared on the website. This is a component you'll find on the cover page, which the best fundraisers I've seen are ones that always feature both the overall donation goal for the event and both their top individual and team fundraisers. It's a great data point on the cover page. We've also got great social sharing settings, so you can automatically share a participant's fundraiser page instead of the race page. So that means that if they're on their own individual fundraiser page or team fundraiser page and they click that Twitter icon, that Facebook icon, that email icon, the link that's being shared is their fundraiser, not the race itself, which is great. We've also got really great automated fundraising incentives, so you can reward fundraisers for reaching their goals. We have both default and custom milestone badges you can create, so you can either use the images we provide or provide your own and say, hey, here's a virtual trophy for getting started, for raising $50. You can really sort of gamify the fundraising experience. It really works for my millennial brain. There's like a grayed out trophy case that I have to fill in. I think that's a lot of fun. It really works for me and a lot of people I think who enjoy games. You can also offer great fundraising refunds. So if someone says, hey, you offer to refund their registration if they raise a certain amount of money. So more basics of fundraising. Yeah, it's either you can make it optional or required. So, and when it's required, that's when you can do that automatic creation of their fundraising page. So if it's required for an event, there's a setting that says if fundraising is required for this event, we will automatically create their fundraiser page in the background, or they can create it themselves. You can set it up so that they can join or create a fundraising team. And you can use our email marketing to create a drip campaign to keep fundraisers motivated. So say you're doing an event that takes place over a month, you can set up, sort of weekly emails to go out that say, hey, we're, 1 week into our goal. Have you reached out to your friends and family yet? We're halfway through. How close are you to your fundraising goal? So just what you would do to remind someone if they're participating in like a virtual challenge and you wanting them to remind them to get their steps in. It's a similar thing, but it's just, money instead of steps. And sometimes both. So for fundraising goals, you have a couple different options, and you can find these settings under fundraising, individual fundraisers, and general settings. So we always recommend you have a default goal, so something that just automatically gets loaded. So usually $100 is a pretty good example of something to put in, just a suggested goal. So there are a couple options you can take advantage of that are a little below that on the same page, which include fundraising minimum if the fee is not waived. So someone has agreed, they have a required fundraising goal, and they can agree to reach that goal or do something even higher. So fundraisers can edit to increase their goal above the minimum, but cannot lower it, and then they pay the registration fee. Now, this is something similar is the fundraising minimum, but with the fee waived. So the fundraiser there agrees to the fundraising minimum and does not pay anything for registration because they are agreeing to raise at least $150 and therefore offset the price of their registration. So for fundraising pages, here's some of the great ways that you can or the person themselves can customize. They can have a great fundraiser slideshow, which features, images that support why they are participating. Those social sharing options I was referring to, you can see those, that Facebook, Twitter, and email options for sharing are right there, right by the donate button. They can create their own taglines and story headings to really make it more personal and more dynamic. They've got the clear donate calls to action. So that would be, like help me run the Broad Street Run or something along those lines. They're able to put those lines in there that say, this is why I'm participating in this, please come support me. Now, we always recommend that you set default messaging because you're definitely going to have wonderful fundraisers who are so excited and want to tell their personal story. Then you're also going to have a fair amount of people who are like, hey, I'll share this page, but I don't want to put a lot of work into it. And you want to make sure that everyone involved, from the most activated to the not as activated, have all the tools needed for them to raise as much money as possible for your cause. We've got a great, I'm sure you've heard about it, we talk about it all the time, but our great Facebook fundraiser integration. So this allows fundraisers to raise money towards their goal directly on Facebook. So basically at the bottom of their fundraiser page, you'll see that button that says create your fundraiser on Facebook. So basically they're raising money in both places. Now the money that goes through Facebook will come through Facebook, and the money that comes through us will come through us, but the total will be synced on both spots. So you'll be able to see the total of all raised, and that really encourages people to get even more involved. People love to be on social media, and we see that people who participate and do organizations that do turn on Facebook fundraising raise about 30% more for their causes. So that's not a small amount of money. It's pretty exciting. Now, for those folks who have agreed to raise a certain amount of money but don't necessarily meet that goal, you have the option to charge them the difference if you turn this on. So you can require fundraisers to agree to a minimum fundraising threshold, and they can say that, click that box that says, hey, if I don't meet this, I will be charged the difference, and they'll be able to save their credit card information and you'll be able to charge them. So yeah, a great option. We'll talk a little bit more about fundraising teams. So the team focus is for events that, where you have people who want to get together as a group. We see this a lot for sort of health causes. We've got someone who's rallying behind a family member who might be sick. So you might have a team that's like Team Jessica or Team whomever in their family they're supporting. There's lots of different ways, but that's one of the big ones we do see. So these are for fundraising focused events that don't use social teams. I'm sure you guys have heard this a lot, but we don't recommend having both social teams and fundraising teams turned on because it does create a lot of extra work for you guys and us. So it's always better to, sort of choose one or the other. Donations are done peer-to-peer, so that means that those individuals who've created their fundraising pages are sharing them to their peers, to their friends and family, to ask them to support them. The team fundraiser is for tally purposes. That's why, so everyone who's on the team, each one of their donations is going to roll up to the team total. So you're tallying what the team has brought together. We also have a great tool on the back end, which makes it so that if someone's donating to a team, they have to choose a team member to donate to, because a lot of times you'll have someone come in and they'll say, oh yeah, my grandma donated, but she donated to the team and I want to get recognition for it. So this prevents that from happening. Make sure she has to choose her grandson in this example. You can also turn on the great Bring Back My Team feature, which will bring back teams from the previous year, making everyone's lives a whole lot easier. And you got easy fundraising team competition with the website data component. So that thing we were just talking about on the cover page, they'll be able to see who the top team fundraisers are. And they're able to see, if they've fallen behind in the competition and they want to go, and beat the other team and raise a little bit more money. And here's some of the recommended best practices. We've gone over, I think, probably a fair amount of these already, but it's good to reiterate. Within the donation confirmation email, it's always great to add the nonprofit tax ID and address. People are going to be asking for that anyway, so it sort of it heads that off at the pass so that people are able to get that information for tax purposes. It's really important to customize the donation description and charity logo. Honestly, I see so many races on a daily basis that are raising money, that have raised a good amount of money, that have absolutely no information on the donation page. And it's such a missed opportunity to really raise the profile both of the organization and what you're doing, and helping really encourage folks who might not have thought to donate otherwise and click past this sort of almost blank page to get them to donate a little bit more. And beyond that, we even recommend to set up 3 to 5 donation levels. So they're not only are they seeing the donation description, the charity logo, they're seeing a bunch of options. I can donate 25, 50, 250 to sort of encourage people and give them suggestion of what they should be donating. Steve talked about this, but the donation checkbox at checkout. And the way that works is if someone has not donated on that donation page, then they will see, if you turn it on, the donation checkbox at checkout, which encourages them just to throw in 10, 15, a smaller amount. And we also mentioned those processing fee customizations. I know Steve talked about this, but best practice we've seen, or what people mostly do, is that they'll pass the registration fee on to the participant, but they will take on the donation fee and then put messaging in that says, hey, make your donation go further by covering the fee and supporting our great cause. And yeah, Facebook fundraising, it's truly the easiest thing to turn on. It's an automatic integration if your nonprofit already receives Facebook donations. And so it's a pretty much of a no-brainer, in my opinion, to turn that on and make a little extra money for your cause. And then, of course, always great to update the default fundraising messages so that people are seeing up-to-date calls to action that they can send to their friends and family and help raise even more money. And I think that might be it for me. Is that right, Steve?
Yes, it is. I mean, I would like you to continue chatting with us all day, but yes, that was your already predetermined content you were going to cover. And guys, I mean, Chris is, again, like he said, he is working directly with nonprofit organizations and folks that are really focused on donations and fundraising. That is his focus as one of our salespeople, and is really great and creative to think through ideas that you, as timers or your customers, might have. So please reach out to Chris or account manager, and I'm sure he'd be happy to talk about those things with you.
Thanks, Steve.
Right. Thank you. Thanks again, Chris. All right, our next guest, Elizabeth, who is a lead technical account manager on TicketSignup. And what is TicketSignup, Elizabeth?
Well, thanks for inviting me to your talk show, like Chris said. Can you hear me okay?
We're happy to have you.
So TicketSignup is, if you've been around for, I guess, the last year, I was going to say a while, but really it's just the last year, then you may have heard of this. TicketSignup is our solution for events that are not registration events. So not races, but different types of events that you or your customers might be putting on that you can help them with. So some examples of event types that we've seen are festivals, concerts, a lot of golf tournaments, which can be set up all different ways, multi-day light shows, or Halloween haunts or corn mazes, anything that's really like an outdoor multi-day, like longer term type of an event. We've seen a number of those. And then also nonprofit galas and dinners and banquets, things like that, that might even be associated with a nonprofit or a race that you already work with. So just like races, we offer full websites for these using our new website builder, which is actually coming to races later this year. We also have our free email tool. They get great SEO just like races do. So all of those features that you love in races, we have in ticket events as well. We also have a free and easy to use check-in app. This is not the same check-in app that you should be familiar with if you're on this webinar, but it is actually, it's purple. So if you use the green one, you should download the purple one. They're pretty similar in how they work, and obviously the concept behind them is the same, but they are separate apps for tickets. And with tickets, we also have the same exact pricing scale, and your partner revenue share would also apply. So that works just the same way as it does in races. You can actually see your ticket events in your partner dashboard if you have any associated with your partner account. You have one of those with us. And like I mentioned, these are a great opportunity, these types of events, to help your clients. If you have clients that are nonprofits, or maybe they're festivals that have a race event associated with them, but you haven't been able to help them with their actual festival event yet, this is a great way to get involved with your clients' other types of events beyond race or registration type of events. So this has a couple of screenshots of what the ticket pages look like and some of our features. So we have these nice looking calendars for the multi-day events that I mentioned. We have a number of those, so we're building a lot of features for those, especially this year. But we can accommodate all different types of events. We allow all events to set up different ticket levels, so that could be different types of tickets, like sponsorships that you might be selling in addition to your tickets, or a VIP ticket and a general admission ticket. We have some flexible pricing features like volume discounts depending on how many tickets are in somebody's cart, or like an overall cart discount depending on how much money they're spending with you. I didn't actually put it on the slide, but you can also do additional donations or store or add-on type of items with these. So if you're selling tickets to like a beer festival and you want to add on a t-shirt or an extra beer or something that can be redeemed at the event, those can be added just like add-ons would be added in registration. The checkout for this is pretty quick and easy because it's not a full registration system, so it's a lot quicker to get through. We only require zip code now for this, so you don't even have to fill out your full billing address on tickets because we want it to be as quick for people to buy tickets as possible. It's kind of a different type of sale because you have a lot more people buying tickets in person for these types of events that you do for races. So we actually have like a point of sale integration with Square that you can use on site at an event as well. So a lot of different types of options or things like that that we could talk to you about if you do get into this. Like I've mentioned, you can sell tickets by date and time if you have a big multi-day event that goes maybe over the course of a weekend or a full month or even longer. So that's what the calendar here is showing, but we are actually building a full timed entry feature that's going to be available later this year that will accommodate this even better than what we have right now. We're also building an integration with the new membership system. I don't know if we've talked about this on this webinar yet today or if we're going to touch on it, but when we put out our new membership system, which will replace clubs, which is also going to be a little bit later this year, it'll be integrated with tickets. So if you have a club,
that's breaking news you just broke. We have not talked about
okay.
Well, that's pretty exciting because clubs has been functional, but I think that there's more to do, and I think we're pretty excited about revamping it. So
yeah, I figure the people on this webinar have probably at least heard of our club feature. So that should be exciting for you guys if you've been asking for that for a few years, like many of our customers have. It's coming soon. It'll be integrated with both races and tickets. So I put this slide in here because I think it's helpful for people who are used to using our registration platform and have used it for some time. You may actually have events that could be ticket events that you've been using registration for, because you either didn't know or it didn't occur to you that we have this other platform. So I just put some differences here, and this is our terminology on this slide, which could also be helpful to use with your clients, because if they can get comfortable with our terminology, then it'll be easier for both you and us to work with them. So we say participants register, so that's using the RunSignup platform, and attendees buy tickets, so that's TicketSignup. So some high-level differences are, for registration, you're doing more extensive information collection, so you need the name, the email, the age, a waiver at a minimum for everybody who's coming to your event, every single person. You probably are going to need to do multiple interactions with those people ahead of the event and even after the event, so that's things like signing waivers later, doing participant management, which is like, you know, changing their event, changing their shirt size, things like that. And then also people will be coming back to your website to check their results or uploading their own results if it's a virtual event. So multiple interactions on your website and with you as a participant. Because of all of that, we need people to have accounts with us so that they can log in and do all of those things. So we require that they log in to RunSignup or create an account if they don't have one when they sign up for your event. Couple other things that we have on registration that we don't have on tickets and don't really plan to add at this point are peer-to-peer fundraising features like Chris just talked about. So those teams and the individual fundraising pages, those aren't things that we have on the ticket platform, and we probably won't add anytime soon, because if you need to do all of that, that's a lot of interaction. And so it's probably better to set that up as a registration event and just customize what other features you're using with it, even if it's not like a race event. Same thing with teams. Teams are really important to races, but not as important for most ticket events, so we don't have anything like that for tickets. Tickets, we try to keep it easy and lightweight, so the actual sign-up process is a lot simpler than registration because we're not asking for very much information. We're usually just asking for the email address and the name of the person buying the tickets, and we're not asking for any of their friends that they're bringing. We don't need any of their information. So that makes it a lot easier for them to buy tickets in bulk. So I can buy like 6 tickets and not provide any information for the other 5. I'm just putting in my name, my email, and then I'm showing up at the event with my 5 friends. Because of that, we don't require accounts for tickets, which makes checkout even quicker. They don't have to create an account on RunSignup or TicketSignup. They don't have to log into anything. It's really nice. We do offer donations, like I said, but no fundraising features, no teams. And we do allow for grouping of tickets to simplify the display. This is something that we have on races, but it works a little differently with tickets. It's a lot more common to group your ticket options because you might have multiple. Whereas with a race, you might only have 2 or 3 different event options. You could have more with tickets. So if you have a complex setup, we can still accommodate that and make it a super simple sign-up flow.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. That gave us a nice introduction to TicketSignup if you're not aware of it. I realize that it may not have direct correlation to some of our timers, but I think, you know, the purpose of today is really understanding all the different tools and functionality that's possible with RunSignup and now TicketSignup, because we really believe that it can help you be more successful if you're helping your customers, your clients, your races be more successful. So keep this in your back pocket. You never know when you know, you will see an opportunity to support them from a ticketing perspective. And Elizabeth is great in helping with all of our folks. She's been instrumental in really developing this platform with our developers, giving valuable feedback from our customers and working through all the scenarios that we want to make sure it's working the way we want to, and really taking it to the next level. So thanks for all your hard work, Elizabeth. Thanks for being on today. I want to thank Chris as well for joining us from a fundraising perspective. And I think we're getting close to finishing up, guys. We just have one more deck to go through that is short. It's just probably going to take about 10 minutes, but we've been chatting for a while. So we're going to go ahead and just take a really quick break, another just 5 minutes. And so that's going to take us to, it's 2:34 right now. We'll say we'll come back at 2:39. And Shelly's going to wrap this up, and you'll want to make sure you're there. It's going to give you some action items, talk about some free swag you've earned by getting your RunSignup certification today. And yeah, so we'll see you back. Now it's 4 minutes. We'll see you back here at 2:39. Okay, guys, it is 2:39 Eastern time, and so we are back to kind of wrap things up. So I am going to push it over now to Shelly and bring us home here. Shelly?
Great. Thank you, Steve. Thanks so much for all your work today and getting all your presenters and speakers together. And it was a great training session. So I'm going to just finish it up very quickly. Thank you, everybody, for staying with us today. And I really appreciate you all taking the time to learn more about RunSignup. And we're hoping that you found it valuable, that you can then add this technology and knowledge to the services that you provide. So, but I did want to share that, we have a lot of sources for you to learn more and to get help. And we didn't want you to feel like you're all on your own and that we're done. So one of the great ways, actually you could go to the next one, is a simple way is, just typing in your race dashboard where you can look for, any type of topic. So if you're looking for something on how to, or just even to access a feature or function, you can look in, there's a search field on the upper left-hand corner on your race dashboard. So that's a really easy thing to do. Also, we have a lot of tutorials on, how to set up things and so forth that you can access on any of the topics that we covered today. So there's just a wealth of information available to you. I know everybody's different though. Some people want to read, some people want to look at videos, or then they want to, communicate with people directly. So we have resources in all facets. So, okay, I think I have some more about this.
Sorry, Shelly.
And so one of the great things to do though is to create a test race. I mean, really, if you're trying out like the new website and everything, that's probably the best thing to do is to create a test race. Just keep it in draft mode. That keeps it offline and the features won't show, and set a password to prevent registration. And then we'd definitely encourage to have your race directors test the registration and make sure that it's correct. And then just so you know, the support contacts, there's RunSignup support is info@runsignup.com. Now they're available 7 days a week. You really want to try to work with your account manager as much as you can though, if you have questions, and then support if you're not able to really figure things out. But they will provide you with that personal experience. And please know your account managers are, they have, normal working schedules. So they're not going to be available during those race hours and race weekends. So that's where your support is on the race hours is at info@runsignup.com. And then for race day scoring, I just want to make sure, because a lot of you are using race day scoring, and we communicate this, or at least we try to multiple times, that you use raceday@runsignup.com. Now, if you forget and you send it to info, don't worry about it, they'll get it to the right people. But we also have a phone number for you to talk to someone directly, so feel free to use that as well. The timers have that exclusive access through, having that one-on-one communication with this telephone number. And then also you can schedule one-on-one training with Chris at any time on the race day tools. And we'll be providing the link in the email that we send after this session. So, and also further training is, we have webinars all the time, so be on the lookout for that. But all of the webinars that we've done, we have recorded and you can access at any time. They're on our YouTube channel. And as you see, these webinars here cover specifically the things that were covered today, or some of them. Like how to key components of your race website, renewing your race, and things like that. So if you want to go deeper on these, then there's definitely these great webinars to access out there. And also check out their learning tab on the website. That's where all like kind of anything, the blogs and the webinars and stuff you can access. And speaking of blogs, make sure to subscribe to our blog page so that you can get all the updates, because that's where we communicate any software technology updates and just kind of, it's kind of our latest news kind of area. And also we have newsletters that go out every month we have a RunSignup newsletter, we have a timer newsletter, and we have a TicketSignup, and I think we have a GiveSignup. And then if you want to go to the next page, just want to communicate that make sure you look at the timer newsletter though. And one thing I'm proud of is that everybody actually, our viewership of the timer newsletter actually beats records compared to the other newsletters. But what we try to do, and Steve has actually taken over the newsletter creation for the company, which has been great. But we try to really customize this to the timer. So it's anything you need to know about any products that are relevant to timers, that any changes in the last month, and anything that's coming up in the next month. So definitely make sure to check out the newsletter. If you're not getting it for whatever reason, just let us know. We'll get you on the list. But definitely make sure to look at the newsletter each month. And then I wanted to communicate, because we normally have our symposium and we're not having one this year. We are doing a roadshow because we thought we'd try, because we're a diverse company and we're kind of located in different parts of the country. We decided, why don't we take advantage of that and get on the ground and see people that maybe they can't come to the symposium because of location or costs. So we have 11 tour stops, and I will be at the Atlanta one in February. So what we're going to be doing with this is just going to be a very informal session that's just for our current customers, where we'll give an update on our technology, it's kind of trends in the area and so forth. And then we'll have just kind of a social time with beverages and so forth, and some food. But I did want to put out a poll real quick on this, because I wanted to see, so if anybody wants to see James Harris and myself and Brian, we're going to be in Atlanta. So please come and see us, because we really want to break the record of the most attended people, or most attended roadshow location. So Steve, where are you going to be?
Well, and if you're a Chiefs fan and you love Kansas City barbecue, come to KC. I will be doing that, and we're actually going to be playing pickleball at Chicken and Pickle in Overland Park, Kansas. So we get the bragging rights of the only one that will be in a physically competitive activity, pickleball, at our roadshow.
Oh my gosh, I'm jealous. I want to go. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to think of mine a little. Okay, so I want to ask who all is planning on going to a one of the roadshow places, if you could answer. Let's see. Okay, great. Well, it looks like we've got, well, it's an even spread pretty much. Well, almost. We've got 30% say yes, 39% say maybe, and 30% say no. So I'm hoping we can encourage that 30% to say yes and join us. So, but I look forward to seeing you all in person. So hopefully you'll be able to make it. Okay. And then just what are the next steps with this? And I know, again, there's a good majority of you that have not taken these before, but so we have a very simple quiz, very simple, that we'll be sending to you tomorrow, because we'll send you this recorded session as well, but it takes a bit for it to process. So you'll get a post email that has a link to the quiz. So just take the quiz. And make sure in the quiz that we ask for your address. Just make sure you put your right address so we can give you your gift. So, and you'll get the email once we get the responses from you. Then we actually will process it. It'll take us a bit to process, so give us a week. And then you get an email confirmation with your badge. And then you'll have links to supportive tools and videos, and we'll offer continuous training opportunities. You'll be listed on our website as certified as well. So this is something that you can then tell your races that, oh, I'm certified in RunSignup, so I can help you with the registration. It just kind of gives you a little edge. And I can also help you with your marketing efforts as well. So. And again, this is, you'll be listed as a RunSignup certified timer. And we're going to be promoting this a little bit more this year because we're in the process of changing our website so that event organizers can have an easier way of accessing timers and looking for new timers. So look for that to come too. And then this is our new tumbler that we're giving out, and it says Race Day Certified, just kind of embracing all the programs that we're offering this month. So it will. Yeah, I'm not sure what size it is, but it's a larger new tumbler that they have out. So again, make sure your address is correct on the quiz, and then we will be mailing these out in February. Now we have, 3 other sessions, and you'll only receive 1 Yeti for attending any of the sessions. So just to clarify that. But I did want to share that. So we have the Race Joy one that's coming up next week. Then we have Race Day Certified, which is really the Race Day scoring certification program. We started with including everything, then we narrowed it down because it was just better to isolate the Race Day scoring. And then we also have now a very new certification session. So if you've gone through the other sessions, you'll definitely want to focus on this one. On January 31st, we'll be covering the Race Day check-in app and the photos platform. And the check-in app is definitely, I will say, the #1 tool that event organizers like to use, but they need you to use it. So definitely take advantage of that. It's not that complicated. There is effort in creating the back end setup for it. So you want to understand that a little bit more. We'll cover a little bit about the volunteer check-in aspects of the app as well. So that's a really good session to attend. So definitely sign up for that one. And I think that is it. So I don't know if there's any questions we need to cover, but I think that everything has been answered as we've progressed. Correct, Steve?
Yeah, there's some specific ones that I think that are a little more nuanced. We'll reach out directly about, but yeah, thanks everybody for their engagement and asking those questions. So
yes.
Yeah, I think we're good, Shelley.
Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll see you next week. And if you're following this as a recorded session, then please just take the quiz, send in the email that you completed the quiz, and we will process your certification. But thank you, everybody. It was great to see the familiar names on the board. So I appreciate you guys attending the session.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.